CNN fitness contributor Stephanie Mansour says you're going to wake up your body by improving circulation.
All right. Good morning. Morning, Anthony. All right.
How long will it take to tackle a home project?
We'll be on
Angie, you can call
T-minus 1 minute.
before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest. Sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except if you tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
There are so many words.
Morning, Jerry.
Panera's new Chef's chicken sandwiches.
Happy Friday.
Chicken, juicy, succulent. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisp, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words. But when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's chicken sandwiches. Enjoy free drink with purchase of a new Chef's chicken sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/online code.
All right. Bill just walked in. We're ready to go.
Rises and falls. That's not meteorology.
No, I feel like that's almost more like astrology.
Astrology? Yeah, is that what it was? That's what we're going with,
I
astrology?
mean, the
Okay.
sun's a star.
With Bill Gunter, Patrick Perret.
There you go, kids. You don't need to go to school today. Patrick Fred has already given you some information. Tell your parents you're just going to stay home. If you call it that, the sun is a star. We are all over it this morning.
And Jen Jensen.
I can't even. I mean,
On your home of the Gamecocks.
I don't know. I'm just like everything's going wrong, and I don't know what to do. I don't know, but I might go back to bed.
107.5 The Game.
Long day at the Masters. Maybe we should just go back to bed. Just call it a day, Patrick. Just call it a day. Just head to bed, sleep a little bit, and get ready for round 2 here on a Friday morning, April the 8th. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perret, welcome in. Jen Jensen taking the day off, spending some time with family. Seems very nice to do. Patrick, busy day yesterday. The Masters is always an entertaining experience, and yesterday was a scorer's day as we had Kyle Thompson and Casey Kerr on with us, and Casey talking about yesterday the opportunity for players yesterday to score, especially late in the afternoon. Tiger Woods puts up a 1 under 71 yesterday, a pretty solid round from him. How much did you get to take in? How invested did you get in the Masters yesterday?
Do you want to know the real answer to that?
It's going to be none.
It was 0 strokes, 0 swings.
You saw,
Yeah, not one lick of it.
You might not be the only one. It would not surprise me if you were not the only one.
I will watch it this weekend. I don't think there's too much going on. Last full weekend of really pro sports. We're on the closing stretch of hockey and basketball, and most of the playoff seeds are already decided, so I probably won't get in too much of that. I'll have one TV on college lacrosse this week, and I haven't even looked at the slate for college lacrosse, but I will have the Masters on in the background. I'm kind of in a lull in the movie phase right now. There's not anything I really am desperate to see, and I'm not really watching any shows right now, so I do have some time for Masters this weekend, but I'm not going to watch any today either. I will be sound asleep during the day.
Okay. Yeah, it was certainly
I'm still intrigued, but also Tiger's the number one story you pop on ESPN.com is you see his face. I'm one of the probably few people that, whether he's playing on Saturday or Sunday or not, will have zero influence on when or how I watch.
No, I think Tiger is obviously the massive story, and yesterday a lot of fun watching him work his way around the course, and he shoots the 71, which is a solid score. There's nothing wrong with what he shot yesterday. Now, it's going to be interesting as the wind picks up, or as expected. I was talking to a couple people about this yesterday in terms of the weather and what exactly is going to happen with the weather as we move forward. But Sungjae Im in the lead after a 5 under 67. Cameron Smith shoots a 68, bookends it. Double bogeys number 1, double bogeys number 18, and finishes 4 under with a 68. Local boy Dustin Johnson with a beautiful 3 under 69. He is in there with a couple other players, including the world's number 1 Scotty Scheffler. And Patrick, I got to admit, I feel like Danny Willett's going to win. We've picked on Danny Willett.
Why do you think he's going to win?
Because we've picked on him. Because we've made the comments about
this is his course.
About he gets to go to the champions dinner and Roy McIlroy does not, and a couple other golfers does not.
And you know what? Rory can't even get mad about it if Danny Willett wins a second. You can't even. You say, okay, good for Danny.
I mean, I honestly,
is Charles Schwartzel in it?
Yeah, he's a Masters champion. He's there.
How old is Sandy Lyle? Like really old.
I'm looking, but I'm gonna ballpark 65. Seems fair.
Yeah, because you look at all the scores, and he is in dead last.
He's 64. He just turned 64.
10 over.
Yeah, rough day for him. But is he one of the guys? Who was it? Who was it yesterday? Said, or was it Kyle Thompson? Who was it who says at some point when you're not competitive, they start to nudge you out?
Yeah, it was Wes O'Brien told us that.
Does he get a little note in his locker this morning that says,
enjoy Friday. It'll be your last round in the Masters.
Yeah, your last competitive round. You can
who's the head honcho at Augusta? Is it the chairman or whatever?
Yeah.
He meets him at his locker and says, Sandy, you've been
We appreciate
You've been a great
you.
champion, and we appreciate you, and we love you.
You can play with the media members, an honorary media member when a couple weeks after the tournament. Yeah.
I mean, does Vijay Singh, is he still on the tour?
Yes.
Okay. So he still plays year round.
Right. He's on the Champions Tour. He's on the Seniors Tour, but yes.
And that guy, that 30-year-old amateur, Stuart Hagestad, 7 over, tied for 84th.
Yeah. No, he's living the dream, Patrick. He's living the dream. 803-404-6100. If you want to join us this morning and live the dream, you can do that as well. You can be a part of the program here as we go through. We'll get you ready. South Carolina and Georgia tonight over at Founders Park. We'll get you ready for that. We'll talk a little college football, some spring games this weekend. And Clemson Tiger fans is our buddy Jim Corley weighing in this morning bright and early. Says he is on his way he's on his way to Clemson for the spring game Saturday, meeting friends and tailgating and cooking out, having a good time in Pendleton. So that is where our buddy Jim Corley, the Clemson fan, will be heading this weekend. You've got some spring games taking place. So we'll talk a little college football, Patrick, this morning, and we'll get into the NFL draft. Did you get into the Beast or the whatever it was yesterday?
A little bit. I'm mostly gonna have to use it for the obscure guys that I don't know. Like I don't need to use that to make up my ranking of when I get to like probably 1 through 50, because I can watch those guys, but it's very difficult to find film of guys way down the list, and particularly isolated or coaches film. I'm just not gonna be able to watch all those guys. I'll have to try and find some sort of highlight mixes and get an idea. But yeah, that will inform me for the later round guys.
Okay. All right. So we've got that. We'll get Patrick's take on a little bit of the NFL draft this morning as it pertains to especially South Carolina and Clemson players and where they likely will fall, really given the South Carolina players. JJ Enagbare, Patrick, this was a guy that I think last year, there was a mock draft when he elected to return, and it was kind of one of those things you looked way ahead to the 2022 draft, to this draft coming up, and he was a first-round kind of guy. Where do we have JJ Enagbare falling now? Because you mentioned it, he's not had the good, what we'll call the camp season, the pro days and the combines.
Yeah,
it's not been good, but he's a good football player. He really did not have a great senior year, a final year. Like his final year statistically, and I think production-wise, whether it's because he was being double-teamed or being focused on, maybe didn't live up to the hype. But so where are we seeing JJ Enagbare in the upcoming NFL draft now, 3 weeks from yesterday, fall?
Yeah, I mean, I would be stunned at this point if he went in the first round. But I think he'll comfortably be a day 2 guy. Maybe it is late second round. Maybe he falls as far as the third. I would be surprised if he's not a second round pick. but it hasn't been a great testing season, I guess is what I would call it, between the combine and the pro days. He measured really, really well. Like, he's perfectly built for that kind of defensive end, or even a edge setting 3-4 outside linebacker. He just, his toolbox of pass rushing moves isn't very diverse. He just kind of uses his long arms and tries to kind of hold people up and run through him. Plays with a great motor. I think people will really like him, but he just doesn't have the well-rounded game or freak athleticism. He doesn't have a freaky athletic trait. His freaky trait is his arm length, which coaches will love because you can do a lot with that if you can keep guys at bay and keep them away from you. So he's got 90-something percentile arm length. But yeah, that's just kind of it. He's just kind of raw, and unless you're outrageously athletic, like David Ojabo is raw as well, but he's a freak athlete. And if he hadn't torn his Achilles, then he'd probably be a different story. So yeah, I think Enagbare will definitely play in the NFL right away. Like, there will be a role for him. Will it be an every down guy? Probably not, but he's good enough to play in the NFL next year, and someone's going to value him, and he'll probably be like a third pass rusher. If you've got a nice little duo of edge rushers, you can use him to spell them for a couple plays here and there. Whether it's like the LA Chargers, you have Bosa and Khalil Mack. Do you want to just add him to be the third guy to give Mack or Bosa a break? I could see something like that in the second or third round being worth it.
We'll get into that. We'll talk a little Carolina Panthers this morning as it pertains again to the quarterback situation. Patrick, leaning.
Got to talk a little Debo.
That's becoming an interesting situation. Is he overplaying his hand? Explain the Debo situation while you're bringing that up.
I don't want to use the D word, but I think Debo is going to be one of the divas. He's gonna fall into that diva category of NFL wide receivers. So he deleted a bunch of posts on his I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram. I know it was probably some Instagram.
Instagram was what I
just
heard. I want to say I saw. I didn't
took down all the 49ers stuff and unfollowed them. That's kind of the new passive aggressive thing for the Gen Z athletes to do. The same thing happened with Kyler Murray, and it was a huge story. But Debo's coming up on the final year of his rookie deal, wants to be one of, if not the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And now people are believing that this is his passive aggressive way of saying that he's not happy with how it's going.
We'll talk about a little bit about that this morning.
I'm not Team Debo on this one.
You
love Debo.
Why is that? Go into it.
I just think I think it's an immature move to do overall. Is it a big deal? No, not really. But I'm also just kind of on the 49ers side in the negotiations. If he's demanding to be the highest paid player in the NFL, I can't do that. If I was the 49ers, what I would do is I'd offer him the Amari Cooper contract, which is 5 years, $100 million. $20 million a year. That's the top tier of NFL wide receivers. And if he says no, that's not enough, I'd say, okay, trade offers are being accepted right now.
Okay. Well,
that's kind of where I'm at.
It's going to be interesting. Debo's certainly a very good player. Patrick, if you had to rank the top 3 wide receivers, because Debo, here's the thing about Debo as a wide receiver. I consider him a utility player, almost in the Christian McCaffrey role. Like, Debo's a very good NFL player. He's a big part of the San Francisco 49ers. But you don't consider him a pure wide receiver, right? Like, part of the thing that makes him great is you can hand him the ball out of the backfield. You can utilize him in a million different ways. But I don't know if we're just talking pure wide receivers, if he fits into the mold of a top 3, top 5 wide receiver.
No, and that's he's just kind of a weapon. And he calls himself a wide back because he took traditional running back handoffs. A lot of receivers do end arounds and things like that, or you pitch him the ball. He took full on, like, line up in the I formation and take a handoff and run behind a fullback and run behind a pulling Trent Williams, like normal running back stuff. Not many wide receivers can do that. So it is kind of an asset, but also that's just part of Kyle Shanahan's offense. And he is like the ultimate running game guru. Like, he just develops crazy running plays and they just plug and play guys every single year. Elijah Mitchell was the rookie last year that blew up and was awesome, but Raheem Mostert was there the year before, and Matt Breida. Like, they just plug and play running backs and they all pick up 1,000 yards. I don't think if Debo Samuel moved to another team, they would use him the same way. I think they'd try to make him a normal wide receiver, and he would be very good. He'd be a top 10 probably receiver still, but for him, he's never going to be more productive than in the Kyle Shanahan 49ers offense. I think it would be a mistake for him to leave and expect to be as productive as possible, but maybe he doesn't care about that because he'll be making upwards of $30 million a year if he leaves, and I'm not sure the 49ers are willing to do that for him.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that this morning. Certainly interesting to see what happens there, get into some NFL stuff. And I tell you what, Patrick, you can't – first opening segment, we have to read this. Jess weighing in and saying college lacrosse this weekend, the biggest game I see is Ohio State, Johns Hopkins, Duke, Notre Dame, Virginia, North Carolina. We'll be watching Duke, Notre Dame. Will be a high-scoring game. And then Jess says, do you have to bring up my Carolina Panthers this morning? Yeah, we'll probably bring them up a little bit. But, give us the college lacrosse breakdown. Duke, Notre Dame, Johns Hopkins, Ohio State. Oh, boy.
Yeah, those are two monster matchups. And then I'm also seeing a Virginia UNC game, which is going to also be a big one. But Duke, Notre Dame probably is the premier matchup of the weekend. I was trying to find out who Maryland plays. They might be off on Saturday or maybe play a Sunday game, but they play on Sunday against Rutgers. So Big Ten Network, Sunday night, 7 p.m. I will definitely be tuned into that one, and Maryland will probably dismantle Rutgers like they dismantle everyone.
Okay.
Tie that into lacrosse real quick. Did you see anything about the lacrosse player taking a top 30 visit yesterday?
What? No.
Okay, so top 30 visits. Teams can bring in, NFL teams during draft season can bring into their facility 30 players.
Okay.
So you got to be careful and strategic with who you bring in. If you're a quarterback needy team, you'll probably bring in all 5 quarterbacks, but it usually gives you a good lens as to where a team's leaning. Like Washington brought in Chris Olave yesterday. So it's pretty clear that they're going to be looking at receiver. But yesterday, Jared Bernhardt is his name. He was the Tuarton, which is the Heisman of lacrosse winner 2 years ago for University of Maryland. Used his final year of eligibility after winning the Tuarton in lacrosse to play football because he's always wanted to play football. His dad was a scout for the New England Patriots growing up. I think it was the New England Patriots. I could be wrong about the team, but his dad was a scout growing up, and they grew up playing football. So he used his final year of eligibility to go play football at Ferris State, which is a Division II school. He ended up being the starting quarterback there, an option quarterback. They won the national championship, and he was an All-American in 1 year. And then he went to Maryland's pro day last week and did their pro day to work out, and they're saying that he's going to be a wide receiver in the NFL, and kind of blew up the pro day because he's a freak athlete, and then was given a top 30 visit with the Denver Broncos yesterday. So a guy that's never played the position or hasn't played the sport really outside of last year as an option quarterback in 5 years is getting a top 30 visit already within the first week of this stuff. So going to be drafted and going to be one of the cool stories of the draft. Jared Bernhardt, another lacrosse player in the ilk of a Chris Hogan.
Okay, so there you go. All right, we have thoroughly covered lacrosse for you this morning. You should be very happy. Yeah. We are off to.
We did in the first segment, so most people aren't even listening. It's fine. Now we're done. Now we can be done.
Couple other things from yesterday. Major League Baseball underway. Patrick, did you see the story yesterday with Ronald Acuna and his talking about Freddie Freeman? Did you catch that story yesterday with the Braves?
Is it spicy?
Ronald Acuna doing a Instagram live interview. This was actually occurred Wednesday, late Wednesday. He was doing he was speaking, I believe, in Hispanic or Spanish. He was speaking a different language, but apparently was doing an Instagram live interview with a reporter, the Dominican Republic based reporter, and was asked about missing Freddie Freeman and just said, no, I'm not going to miss anything. He said nothing actually is the key word there. He's not going to, there's nothing he would miss about Freddie Freeman.
Ooh.
And basically saying they had a lot of clashes. And the way I took it, granted,
I have the quote right here. I won't miss Freddie Freeman. We had friction.
Right.
He didn't care when I was plunked. Freddie was overbearing, and he wasn't someone I could talk to ever.
Right. He basically saying that Freddie was called him a veteran, basically, that tried to rule over the younger players and tell them what to do, including removing eye black from his face when he was a younger player coming up from the minor leagues. Said they had a lot of clashes, and that's what jump-started the Braves yesterday, and then they go on to lose last night to Cincinnati in the season opener 6-3. So Major League Baseball is underway, but the Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna storyline is what kind of took place in Atlanta yesterday, and not the exact storyline you want. Really, it's not going to be a huge thing throughout the season. It will be for this weekend, and the way he kind of the what's going on, and I certainly kind of understand where he's coming from. It'll be interesting to see how Braves fans kind of process and deal with Freddie Atlanta, who's no longer in Atlanta anymore, but how he handles that and how they move forward with that little storyline after winning the World Series last year.
This is a wild story. I mean, I'm reading him. He's basically saying it was taken out of context and exaggerated. And then I'm seeing other Spanish speakers being like, no, that's actually exactly what he said. Like, there's no exaggeration. That's a pretty much an exact translation and an exact quote.
So
we
will get into a little bit of baseball.
I mean, that's Mr. Brave and then like the current Mr. Brave.
Yeah.
I don't know how Braves fans feel about that.
I like this. Acuna said in Spanish yesterday, I think the reporters exaggerated. I didn't say anything bad about Freeman. I talked about what happened in 2018 when I was a rookie. The rest was blown out of proportion. It'll be kind of interesting to see how exactly Atlanta, Acuna, and even Freeman. Freeman's moved on. He's now with the Dodgers, but how all of this gets handled. And again, it'll blow over. It'll pass by. 161 games left. We got the dog days of summer to get through. This will be a non-story within a few days. But as of yesterday, with the Braves opening the season, doing all of the World Series things this coming weekend there in Atlanta, it'll be kind of interesting. Did you see, by the way, I'll have to go back to this, I don't want to say hamburger because I feel that's a very unfair to a hamburger, but the burger that the Braves have trotted out and what you can do for $151 that gets you a hamburger.
No, what?
I've got to get you all the toppings on it, but it basically comes with also a replica World Series ring. Replica, not the real one because the Braves aren't doing that, but yeah, I will get you. It has a lobster tail.
$25,000 ballpark burger.
There you go. Read it all. You got everything.
I'm seeing this on Golf Digest. For $25,000, it comes with a limited edition World Series.
Now that
ring.
when you get a limited edition World Series ring, which I don't know what that is.
For $151, you get a replica World Series ring. For $25,000, it comes with a limited edition.
Do you have the full what's all on the burger? I know there's a lobster tail on the burger.
On the burger. So the burger itself is how much?
No, I've never seen a
the
price.
The burger comes stacked with a half pound of.
Yes.
Did we just? What was it? Wagyu. It comes with Wagyu beef, a half pound of Wagyu beef smothered in Tillamook cheddar, and topped with grilled lobster tail, gold leaf wrapped. Oh, I can't say this. Fagua.
Yes, I have no clue how to read. I was hoping this is why I was kind of letting you handle some of the reading of this.
And a cage-free fried egg, heirloom tomato, bib lettuce, and truffle aioli, served on an Irish buttered brioche bun with a side of Parmesan waffle fries. And then for $150, you can add the World Series ring. I mean, it's a ridiculous-looking burger.
The $151 price tag is in honor of the Braves' 151st year of existence, going back to their 1871 start as the Boston Red Stockings. A replica World Series championship ring comes with the burger, and a limited edition original ring is also available for $25,000 for you Braves fans out there. If you want to get involved, you can go to usatoday.com and see that it says Braves to sell $151 burger at Truist Park with option to buy a World Series ring for $25,000. Would you buy a World Series ring for what would you pay for a World Series ring?
Nothing. Why would I want one of those?
I mean, don't you think if you just wait it out for 4 or 5 years, some of the players will be selling theirs on eBay?
Yeah, but I think we've had that's not something I want. Like, I didn't play. That's like I would rather just spend $100 on the t-shirt and hat and celebrate it that way. I wouldn't want a World Series ring. I did get to put on a Nats World Series ring, which was cool because a girl at a party I was at, her dad was like in the front office and got a ring, and she was allowed to bring it out and show it off.
I feel like that should have been brought up the day after that happened, or the weekend you came back after that happened.
That was last summer.
Wait a minute. Were you at the girl's? Were you at her parents' house? How did she have? Shows she had a ring.
Her dad allowed her to take it with her because we were at one of her friend's house.
Okay.
This was in DC.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I got to admit, I would collect. I'm not a huge sports memorabilia collector, but I've said it before. The two things that I would collect if I really decide ever to get into it for like a man cave type room is college football helmets and maybe NFL helmets. Maybe
the helmets
I wouldn't, but I would collect like game used helmets from across the country. Just, South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, Florida, then go on out, get some of the Oregon's got 37 different helmets they use, get some of those. That would be a really cool thing to have in my man cave. And the other one would be to have a special case of like championship rings. I actually think I would. Now, $25,000. There's a lot of other things I would do with $25,000. So buying this ring is not one of them. We'll talk about this. We'll get into this a little bit. Again, a lot to get into this morning as we move through different things happening. Again, the Masters taking place. I see some of you weighing in on different topics this morning. As John says, there goes my Braves undefeated season. Yeah, that was quick. At least they got it out of the way quickly with a loss. They went ahead and let you down in the first game instead of winning the first 11 or 12 and making you believe this could be the year of the undefeated season. So good point, John. And there we go. We'll get into some other stuff as well. Richard says, man, Debo is crazy. He shouldn't be close to the highest paid receiver. We'll get back into that a little bit. I think someone was asking on the Buford Lending live stream exactly what Debo Samuel is looking for in terms of money. We'll let Patrick discuss that a little bit. If you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program. Several of you have already weighed in. Patrick, you seen this? Both on the text line and on the live stream. Craig saying my Cam Smith pick looking pretty good. All of a sudden, everybody taking credit for a Cam Smith pick. I feel like we're going to have to go back and look at yesterday's live stream and look at the text line and see who exactly took Cam Smith, because I feel like we
can go back and check this.
I feel like a lot of people instantly are saying that they took Cam Smith. Look, guys, there's a lot of golf left to be played.
My Sung J M pick is looking pretty good too.
Hey, Danny Willett's going to win. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what he is. We picked on Danny Willett. Danny Willett is going to win this thing, and Patrick and I are going to look like idiots for making fun of. We are
over Brooksy.
We are. Yeah, Brooks came unglued on the back there yesterday in the final few holes.
Spieth 2 over. Come on, man.
Brooksy was rolling right along and just all of a sudden just came apart. Unfortunate. We'll talk about that. We'll get into some Masters. We get back into some Major League Baseball, some other things going on as well. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Patrick Pratt. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up on the next Extra Point.
Hey guys, Pearson Fowler here from the Extra Point, and coming up on the Friday Extra Point, plenty more from the Masters and a lot of Carolina football as the Gamecocks gear up for their second scrimmage of the spring. Plus, the Gamecock baseball team set to host another top 25 team at Founders Park. We'll have a full report and preview of that series, plus a lot more. It's the Extra Point, 9 o'clock.
The Extra Point with Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central, 9 a.m. to noon on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
That time of year that you need to be thinking about your heating and air unit. That's right. You do not want that thing to go out on you when we get into the hot months of June, July, and August. You need to be ready. You've got to call AAA Heating and Air today. The next 60 days, April and May, they will have their pre-summer sale. $1,500 system buyback, instant rebate, 0% interest. That's right. All for well-qualified buyers. You can save money with AAA Heating and Air right now. Maybe you don't need a brand new unit. Maybe you just need some maintenance. And right now, if you call AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500, give them a phone call. You can get the pre-summer maintenance package. Tell them Bill Gunner is the one that sent you. New customers, $49 is all you'll pay. Pre-summer maintenance. Trust me, you're going to want that. I firmly believe that the Columbia summers are the hottest of anywhere on this great planet we live on. And right now, you want to go ahead and get the maintenance done. $49. Call AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500. Tell them you want the pre-summer maintenance package you heard on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner. $49. And I tell you what, if you do need a brand new unit, but you've had issues with your credit, don't worry about it. The great folks at AAA Heating and Air, they will make sure you get financing, guaranteed financing, even if your credit is shot. Don't be hot this summer. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Whether it's maintenance, whether it's a new unit, AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of. Call Roy and Dana Finley, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
And things looking relatively clear this morning. There was one accident earlier reported on US 378 in Grand Palm Circle. That was the only accident I'm seeing, but also look out for some road construction on I-26 westbound between mile markers about 85 through 101.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone.
Sponsored by
AutoZone, just as
BioNTech and
Congress-
Pfizer. You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather. But there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster, as recommended by the CDC. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Whether it's a bad kick, nagging back pain, or a hip that has you hobbling, nothing matters more than getting you back to feeling your best. As South Carolina's most preferred orthopedic provider and official team.
With more expertise, more technology, more locations focused more.
Once you get us through hour one.
Yeah.
We project for steering.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of help, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter already candidates within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com.
Looking at the picture of it, I don't even think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks way too much.
Okay, I wonder if I can. We can do things like this where we can probably put it on the.
Don't let the mess of April showers keep you from maintaining the clean.
Morning, Kirby. Hope you're doing well. Morning, Larry.
There's a screen.
Call the government today at 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
All right, let's see if this works. All right, we're back. We back? Yeah. Right.
.35 on a Friday morning, April the 8th, as we roll along what we were talking about in the opening hour, the opening segment. A lot there. Everything from Deebo Samuel and his contract negotiations or what he's trying to accomplish to the Masters. Sungjae Im in the lead right now over in Augusta. They'll get going bright and early again here this morning. Weather should be great today. We are looking at a pretty good weather day this morning and should be nice. It's about 50 degrees right now. It's expected to have a high of 64 today. I believe it is expected to get very windy today, Patrick, and that is what could play into the scores. We'll see. The course, we should be done over the next few days. As I look at it, we should be done with the rain and the thunderstorms that we experienced the last few days. But today, the high is 66, but the wind should be a-blowing. And then tomorrow, the high is set for 58 degrees. The high is set for 58. That's not what we're going to have in the morning. And the wind should pick up. That course is going to dry out. And, Patrick, the question will be here was yesterday, and I think it was yesterday the best scoring opportunity the players will have? Where do the scores go from here? The wind picks up. The course dries out. It'll become faster. The greens will become more difficult. You look down the leaderboard. I don't ever really take into account what happened on day one because typically last year you saw Justin Rose in the lead after day one and was in strong. It felt very good about how everything was going. Things turned on him very quickly, and we saw Hideki Matsuyama go on to win the 2021 Masters. But you look at this leaderboard early on, and if you were picking out of who we've got here, who would you start to feel better about? A lot of people still saying Cameron Smith.
Well, tell me this. Yesterday, the word was that the long hitters were going to benefit from the weather, right? Did that bear out to be true? Also, what is ball striking when you say ball strikers?
Well, remember we asked Kyle Thompson that, and Kyle Thompson said it's guys they consider ball strikers, great ball strikers, as guys who even when they miss, they don't miss badly. You know, you might be aiming for the left side of the green, but maybe now you're in the middle of the green. That's kind of what he labeled it as, guys who do a good job with even on their misses, their mishits, they're still in pretty good shape.
So it has nothing to do about distance.
Right, correct.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm looking at the ball striker rankings, and John Rahm is number 1. Where did he have a bad day? It looks like he did. Yeah, he's 2 over.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that kind of is the opposite of what was expected. I don't know anything about Sungjae Im's game, but Cam Smith, he's got to be the hottest golfer in the world right now. Maybe Scotty Scheffler, but everyone was hyping him up coming in, and he just crushed it yesterday.
Well,
I mean, what is his MO?
Cameron Smith really, I don't want to say rose to fame because that's really not doing justice to how he's played throughout his career. But the way he played in the elements down at TPC at the Players Championship, down at Sawgrass earlier, when he was able to win at the Players Championship, is what I think has really kind of given people thought that he can handle whatever we're about to get with the weather over the next 54 holes, over the next 3 days. And so that's why a lot of people liking him this weekend because, as you mentioned, he is a ball striker. He's a guy that even on his misses, he typically ends up in a good position. And that's why a lot of people like him. He was also able to handle the elements of Sawgrass just a month ago. So a lot of people liking the way he can both hit the ball on a course where putting the ball in certain positions on the green to not have to deal with the putting, even on your misses where you can still maybe two-putt. You saw, I don't know, I was going to say you saw it, but you didn't see it. But yesterday on 18, he left himself, didn't have a particularly good 18th hole. He double bogeyed. He double bogeyed 1 and double bogeyed 18. But left the ball well short there, had a long two-putt, and this is where you can get in trouble at the Masters, had a long two-putt for bogey, and he ended up three-putting and making double bogey. And that ended up costing him 2 strokes and obviously the lead when the round concluded last night, and Sungjae Im with a 5 under 67 that he's out in front. But how these guys handle it. I think the bigger question for me will be how Cameron Smith handles the pressure of playing in the Masters. Those crowds yesterday looked phenomenal. I don't know if anybody listening was down there this morning. If so, I'd love to hear from you. 803-404-6100 and tell me what you thought about being on the course yesterday, or if you're heading down today, if you're hopping in the car this morning and getting set to head down. I'd like to hear from you. 803-404-6100. But again, Cameron Smith, very good yesterday, but Dustin Johnson has been there. And if you look at this leaderboard, I'm going to go with a little bit of experience right now. Dustin Johnson was not my pick at the beginning of the week, but Dustin Johnson would certainly be the guy that I'll look at with experience and with the game, that he's likely to overcome both the elements and the pressure and win this tournament.
Well, Tiger's got to be in a great spot right now because I was researching, doesn't start off Masters very strongly. Like normally he starts off kind of slow, and then just if he's in contention, he kind of turns it on the weekend. And it looks like if he does anything close to this, he'll be in great shape for the weekend, right? Because people will, if you know that Tiger's chomping right behind you and you make one mistake and he's going to come get you, I mean, it is what everyone wants to see. But I at this point, if he shooting a 71 on Thursday, I'm starting to believe that he might be in contention on Saturday and Sunday.
I think, today, and again, you can go back, anything you've ever missed on the program, we are now on Spotify. You can go and search the early game and listen there. If you use Spotify for your podcasting needs, you can also go to our website, 1075thegame.com, and click on the podcast tab and hear anything you missed. And yesterday we had Casey Kerr, former PGA Tour caddy. We also had Kyle Thompson, and we got a lot of good insight from those guys. Casey saying he thought that Tiger would be in, I don't know, contention or on the leaderboard, but Kyle Thompson talking about trying to walk around the course. And Patrick, I think that's going to be for Tiger Woods today. The interesting story there is, all right, you walked 18. Remember, he didn't walk 18 in the practice rounds. I'm sure he walked
9.
He walked 18, I believe, maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago doing a practice round. But yeah, he walked 9 on Monday. He walked 9 on Wednesday. Yesterday, you had to physically go out and grind. It was a grind for him yesterday to get to 1 under, and you had to walk 18 holes. How does his body handle that? What does it feel like, not only last night, but this morning? A lot of us know. I mean, look, I got a sore ankle, and that's just from going to the gym and working out. But, Tiger Woods has got to get up this morning. He's got to get that body loosened up. Tiger Woods tees off at 1:41 this afternoon. So he gets the morning tee time yesterday. It was 10:34, but it ended up being pushed back to 11:04. Got that 30-minute bump back. But he teed off at 11:04. He wrapped up, I think, around 3:30-ish, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon is when Tiger wrapped up, I believe. And then he had to get back to his home or whatever. I don't know what all goes into, was there a cold tub? Was there a hot shower? I don't know what he did necessarily to try and heal that ankle and leg. But now you got to get back up to today after walking all those holes yesterday, walking up and down that hilly course. And how does he feel today? Is he able to persevere through another day? We know he's got a high pain tolerance, but there's a difference when you just talk about the pure walking and some of the strain it puts on your legs.
If he does anything similar to what he did today, I'm not going to be worried about it at all. Because if he knows that he's in the mix on Saturday and Sunday, it doesn't matter how physically bad he's feeling. The adrenaline's going to kick in. Like, the adrenaline's going to be serious if he knows that I am closing in on one of the greatest stories in the history of sports. Like, that won't concern me at all. And I'm not a Tiger historian, but he's fought through some crazy pain too, right? What's the most famous one? Is it a Masters? Was it a Masters that he toughed out?
No, was it God, now you got me. I think it's a PGA Championship that he overcame.
It was his leg?
Yeah, it was a knee.
I just remember it from the Tiger documentary. It's something about that.
Somebody will tell us. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. He had so many injuries that I think it was ACL in his left knee. Maybe I'm not sure. The number of injuries this guy's had. We talk about Bryson DeChambeau and what he goes through. He won the 2008 U.S. Open with a twice fractured left leg. Obviously, he's had his back problems. Now he's gone through some stuff now. Tiger Woods is one thing about Tiger is the pain tolerance is certainly there.
Wes says broken leg.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm going back. I was trying to remember what exactly it was, but that he had. I think that was the 2008 U.S. Open.
The adrenaline rush has got to be legit.
I would imagine. I mean, to go out there, it's obviously it's a lot different than basketball, where the crowd is just constantly, there's noise constantly, and you can kind of get lost in that. Whereas golf, you go out, and what ends up happening is, all right, everybody gets excited when you hit a great shot, but then you go to hit your next shot, and it's dead silent, and it's you and your thoughts. That's hard enough for me to do, just hanging out and enjoying golf, not worrying about actually trying to win a major or not like shank
I just
one
think he's
kill
a
some nice
psychopath,
old lady 35 yards over to my right.
Yeah.
Like that plays. When I play golf and I stand on a tee box with 10 people standing behind me, 4 on the putting green and 6 just standing there waiting to tee off after me or something, I'm terrified, because when you shank one or you top one about 37 yards down the fairway, you're a little embarrassed. I can't imagine what it's like to go up there and hit a shot like Wesley Bryan with, a crowd around you and the fear of just rope hooking one into some nice old man right down the fairway.
Well, not even that. I would also be just like, I think of Brooks Koepka saying that he just gets bored during the round. Like, walking around, he's like, dude, I've been out here for 3 hours. I'm bored. Having to just stay physically, mentally locked in the entire time and focus on what's coming next, and I guess analyzing your next shot or whatever's going through the mind of a player during that round, and not zoning out. Like, that's where if Tiger takes time to say, hey, man, that really hurt. My leg's really hurting now. And he starts focusing on it and just start thinking about anything other than the next shot, then that would be an issue. But I just feel like he's such a psycho and just so competitive that he'll be locked in the entire time and it won't be an issue. Like, he's played this course a million times. Like, I think he knows what he's feeling, and he knows what to expect. It's not like it doesn't realize how difficult it's going to be to walk the course 4 times. I think he's prepared. It's just maybe banking a little bit on the adrenaline, carrying him through the last couple rounds when it's tough.
And you mentioned playing the course a million times. He played 18 a unique way yesterday, not the way he probably wants to play it. Ronnie says Tiger had an awesome save on 18 yesterday, but his tee shot, he looked like he was in pain. There was a couple times he looked like he was in pain. His tee shot on 18, he hooked it over to number 10, played up through 10, knocked it into the fairway, knocked it up close, and made a great par save. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch yesterday. Today, he will get going later this afternoon. 1:41 is his tee time. In terms of the leaderboard, Corey Connors is the closest to the top. That'll tee off early. Corey Connors shooting a 2 under 70 yesterday. He'll tee off at 8:55 this morning. It will be one of the earliest ones. Sung J M goes off at 9:39. Cameron Smith at 1:30. Dustin Johnson 10:12 this morning. Danny Willett.
Sandy Lyles teeing off at 8 a.m. That's all we need.
They sent him out. Is he really teeing off at 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. Yeah.
It probably was his tee time yesterday. They're like, you know what?
Get out
You get
there
the
and
first.
go play.
Yeah, like you get the first tee time again today. Just go.
I'm also trying to look. Is he playing by himself? Is there anyone else? Let me filter by start time. Yeah, it's Sandy Lyle and Stu Hagestad.
They're playing together.
Yeah. So what are they talking about? Just Sandy, you need me to manage your money? That's pretty cool for the amateur though. That just works at like it was like a credit union or something. I don't even know what he works for. Just hanging out with Sandy Lyle, 65-year-old Sandy Lyle. What a life.
Interesting. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Craig saying 47 degrees this AM. Yeah, send Sandy and Hagestad. Is that was his Sandy Lyle? And
I don't even know how to say it, but I'm going with Hagestad.
Yeah, Craig on the Buford Lending live stream saying 47 degrees this morning. Mr. Kirkland down in the basement below us, guarding the building, but also watching the program. Appreciate him being a part of it. Larry, Lauren, bunch of people on the Buford Lending live stream. Carlton saying it is the anniversary of home run number 715 for old Henry Hammering Hank Aaron there. So thank you for that, Carlton, on the Buford Lending live stream. We'll talk a little Major League Baseball. We'll get into some Deebo Samuel stuff as well. Coming up at 8:05 this morning, we've got Chris Deering. We got a lot to get to. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up on the next halftime show.
Hey guys, Jay and Terry here, coming up on the Friday halftime show. More Masters coverage. Tommy will get us ready for Carolina and Georgia in SEC baseball. And we'll know right away how close I am to my prediction on the Atlanta Braves.
Well, 162 and
150 and 12. Here.
You want 150 and 12? You sticking with that?
I am. I think that's a very conservative estimate for the
I'll
World
be
Series.
honest, it's so believable and logical. I think it could happen.
I will continue to sway everyone. That's what I attempt to do as I take over the world. Or just talk sports. Friday, noon, the halftime show.
The Halftime Show with Jay, Terry, and Tommy. Noon to 3. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Could be a big weekend of cleaning around your house. You know what they say, spring cleaning. You need to get out. You need to do it. You need to, keep that house clean. Or you can take my approach. That's right. You can just call Zero Res and get them out to your house. Let them do the cleaning with that patented ZR water technology that keeps your rugs, your tile, your upholstery all insanely clean, and it does it without any sticky, soapy residue. So you can call Zero Res today and get your cleaning booked. 803-262-4020. If you call right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $109. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Again, 803-262-4020. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com is the way to do that. Again, you can do it with their patented ZR water technology. It takes all the pressure off of you. You can actually kick back, having a sweet tea, keep your feet up. Don't worry about the kids tracking dirt, mud, whatever else it is they bring in from playing outside now in the spring. Just allow Zero Res to get your house clean this spring. 803-262-4020. Again, 3 rooms of carpet clean for $109. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. 803-262-4020. Or again, you can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
And just seeing one accident to report right now. That's going to be on I-26 westbound at mile marker 105. But if you are driving on I-26 westbound, I want you to also be aware that there is some road construction going on. Looks like around mile markers 85 to 101, about to be cleaned up. But just look out for that if you're on I-26 westbound right now.
Sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it, but I'm ready for a new one from eBay.
All right, I figured out how to put the picture of the burger up. Boom, there's the burger. So we got, I wish I could point out things. But yeah, we got foie gras, which is like duck liver, I've deduced, a lobster tail, and a burger, and then a fried egg. Looks okay. I mean, it's a little honestly too much for me. Because it comes with asparagus, I don't know. It's all right. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I would think that, I don't know if it's duck. I did just look it up. What is it? Foie gras. It's made of the liver of a duck or goose, fattened by gavage. Or you're looking up? Oh, it's a weird kind of, not really, but whatever. I'll move one over to the.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive will help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more.
And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Broadcasting live from the Heritage Chevrolet studio. This is 1075 The Game. Shop online and see why Heritage Chevrolet takes you live. Early game. Your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
This is and wrapping up our number one on the early game. We've been all over the place this hour. Talk a little bit about MLB opening day yesterday. A lot of Masters talk as we're about an hour from the first tee times, Old Sandy Lyle and Stuart Hagestad. And we will get into a little, maybe a little Gamecock football, Gamecock baseball discussion in the next couple hours. We got Chris Deering at 8:05. A lot to get to here, Bill.
Plenty to get to. Yeah, we'll get back into that Deebo Samuel information. Kerry Rich being hired by Lamont Paris yesterday. Certainly some news. We await more of the big information, the big hires from Lamont Paris, the ones that will impact the coaching and the recruiting. A lot to get into. You're right. Hour 2 of the early game up next. So what were you looking up whatever was on that burger or something?
Yeah, I showed the picture of it.
Oh. Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jen actually went on a very early anniversary weekend with her. And she actually was okay yesterday. She was a little under the weather. She had to leave early, but she's okay. And she's leaving today or they left to go on a little anniversary weekend. So that's why.
Yeah, we were actually not okay on time in the last break, but I just moved them into this break, and I figure it's fine,
Wait, what is this? We must be getting big time on Facebook now. We can send you guys stars.
I don't know what that means.
Kelly, we're gonna need more of an explanation. What have we done?
Whoa,
making money?
Facebook Stars is a feature that allows you to monetize your stream. Viewers can buy stars and send them to you while you're streaming. For every star you receive, Facebook will pay you 1 cent.
Okay. Nah, Jan, I don't.
Is there a credit card connected to our Facebook account?
Is
there a bank account connected to our Facebook account?
Shouldn't be. Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. I don't even know how you do that.
But yeah, we can. If they can send us stars, we can make money.
It's good news. So we got that going for us.
About stars paths. Let's see.
Jan, no, I don't think it's a new position. I just think it's special assistant to the head coach. I didn't even really look, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I said it would be focused on community outreach, things like that. Whoa, Anthony. Goodness gracious. I'm going to send a picture of this.
The Winning Club was founded in 1987 and has been leading the way in lifetime sports and hospitality ever since. The Winning Club offers
All right. So I showed the picture of the burger. This is what Anthony just sent. Burgeritza. Was it 2 pizzas as the bun, Anthony? Or
That
just
doesn't look good. It doesn't look tasty.
does it look better than the duck one or the whatever, the lobster one?
All sport memberships starting at $59.99 a month. The way to do club, golf, swim, swing, workout, eat, play, and enjoy. All day for a price
That doesn't.
You go, which is better, that one or this one?
Now that's the one that's that's the new one, right?
Yeah.
I don't
just
know how
think
you eat that though. Like, how do
There's
you
too much
can't?
going on.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, that's just like a buffet of things. There's a lobster tail in there. There's a hamburger in there. There's
duck liver.
Why? Let me ask this. Behind it, why is there a pepper and asparagus?
I have no idea.
Like, why is that used as the kind of like the background?
And the egg is just going to be a mess. I mean, I love a fried egg on a burger, but when it's that tall, it's just going to be an absolute mess.
Well, yeah, you can't eat that. Like,
I don't know how you'd feel after eating one of these either. Two personal pizzas and a burger.
I'm with Waddy. I don't know if that's served with the heart medicine or with Tums.
I mean, my favorite burger is probably burger, pimento, and a fried egg and bacon. That's like the ideal like monster burger that I would have.
Yeah, your ideal burger is a burger, pimento cheese, and a fried egg on it
and bacon. Yeah, all of those things together. Or I'm not really a huge like barbecue sauce guy on anything other than barbecue, but I do like the bacon and onion straws and barbecue. That's a nice burger as well. Oh, pita bottom. I mean, 4 innings. I'm impressed that you got it down in the game, period.
Jensen. Well, as a 15-year-old, I looked up, and the women along the balcony were exposing themselves. And I want to tell you, it's one of the greatest parades I've ever been in my life, guys.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
Let me finish, Bill.
107.5 The Game.
.703 on a Friday morning, April the 8th. Welcome in, Bill Gunner, Patrick Perret, hour number 2 of the early game. We are rolling right along, and if you were on the Buford Lending live stream, you just got a chance to be a part of the burger discussion as Patrick was showing different pictures of. Patrick, were both of those they're burgers? One of them was a pizza burger, and then one of them is the one that we're discussing at the Atlanta Braves at Truist Park now.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, I gotta find out the name of the new one, but one of them Anthony sent us a picture of. It was the Burgeritza, I think.
Okay,
this is called. They're just calling it the World Champions Burger.
Yes, yeah. We brought this up. There's something about baseball and food that there is.
Well, it's just you're sitting around the whole time. Half the attraction is eating.
That is. Oh no, I mean, there's something about what they've done in what I said they done, like they've done it, like Major League Baseball got together and it was like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to really make this game more about the food than about the actual sport itself. But yeah, you go there and you eat. You eat. That's part of going to a baseball stadium, and part of going to now a Major League Baseball stadium is unique concoctions.
Yeah.
Of food, right? Like that's part of it is what exactly what everything is. And so you were kind of bringing it up now. Patrick, this is what happens when we do this show sometimes. We go down a different path. There's a lot going on that we're going to talk about sports related today. There's a lot going on. I want to get back into the Deebo Samuel story, which is a weird story, but we're going to get back into it. Major League Baseball got going yesterday. We've discussed some college lacrosse. Certainly the Masters is going on. South Carolina plays Georgia in baseball starting tonight. There's a lot going on that we can get into. But Patrick brought it up. And so now I'm interested to hear the answer. What is your ideal hamburger? Like, what is the ideal hamburger?
The perfectly dressed and accessorized hamburger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Patrick, I have not thought about this until you just brought it up. Patrick brought it up on the live stream. Now I'm kind of fascinated to hear what everybody's perfect hamburger is. Are you just a simple lettuce ketchup guy? Patrick, you on the Buford Lending live stream just mentioned the ingredients or the dressings, I guess, the accessories that you would like that makes for the perfect burger. If you will, please repeat that.
There's two. I have two. If I'm balling out on hamburger night at home, what I'm going to buy to put on the burger, number one, is going to be the burger with pimento cheese, bacon, a fried egg, and then I do a small line of ketchup, mayo, and mustard.
So that's
small
a lot.
lines of each. Yeah. And then a lettuce. I don't do tomatoes, though. I don't eat tomatoes.
Yeah. Okay. So you go where you threw me off. The pimento cheese, I was with you. The bacon, I was with you. I would skip with the pimento cheese. I'd skip the ketchup and the mayo. But then you went the fried egg on the pimento cheese.
I can go with or without the egg, but I love a fried egg on a burger.
Okay. So if you've got,
but then the runner up is the burger with onion straws, bacon, and barbecue. I like that one.
Well, which one is the perfect one? I can get.
Well, it depends what I'm in the mood for. If I'm craving barbecue, which is kind of rare for me, then yeah. But I will frequently crave not just a burger, a pimento cheeseburger.
Okay,
that's a constant craving for me. That's my favorite way to eat pimento cheese. It's on a burger.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, pimento cheese can only be eaten on a burger. I'm pretty much in complete agreement with you. 803-404-6100. There's another topic that we have now thrown out there. Darby says pimento cheese, fried green tomatoes, and bacon is the way to go there on a burger. Jason says Tower of London burger from British Bulldog Pub is probably the best burger I've ever had. Okay.
Well, you can't just say that.
Yeah, you got to tell us what the Tower of.
Yeah, come on.
We don't know. Listen to us. We're just trying to do a radio show here. And if you didn't know, the reason we're bringing this up, the Atlanta Braves are selling the World Champions burger. Patrick, again, I'm reading it straight off of the USA Today story. It is a half pound of Wagyu beef. It is served on a toasted Irish buttered brioche bun. There are other toppings, pan fried eggs, a gold leaf wrapped Hudson Valley foie gras.
Foie gras.
Foie gras?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay. What exactly is foie gras?
It's duck liver, basically.
Ooh, that is awful. All right. Yeah. Gold leaf wrapped Hudson Valley. So the duck liver came from the Hudson Valley. All right, sure. There is on this burger that is being served at Truist Park in Atlanta, if you go to a Braves game this year, grilled cold water lobster tail. We're just basically throwing items on this burger at this point. An heirloom tomato, garden fresh Bibb lettuce, a Tillamook cheddar cheese, and truffle aioli. There's your world champion burger for $151. And the reason it's $151 is it's commemorating how many years this organization has been in business. Again, it goes back to the Boston Red Stockings back in 1871. The $151 price tag is in honor of the Boston Red Stockings beginning in 1871 and going on to become the Atlanta Braves. You get for $151, you get a replica World Series ring that comes with the burger, or you can tack on an extra $25,000. You heard that correctly, 2530, $25,000 for a limited edition original ring. Which I would like to know how many of you out there, if you had $25,000,
are bringing $25,000 to the ballpark with you.
Yeah, that's another good question. Like, is that in installments? Can you do that? Like, can you break that into installments? Like, how does that work? Like,
you just go to the little tent and swipe your card?
I mean, what that in and of itself is a minor. Like, how do you
shouldn't be allowed to just swipe a card at a baseball stadium for $25,000. Maybe you have to pre-order it.
You call ahead to the.
I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that in of itself is a special question.
Let me read you what T just sent me on Twitter.
Okay.
Is this year? Let me check the time. So yeah, 2022 at Kauffman Stadium, the Royals, Kansas City Royals, have announced a new barbecue sandwich, and it's going to feature pulled pork, Sweet Baby Ray's sauce, bacon bits, and Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Just take a bunch of things that we love separately and combine them.
Yeah,
just
that's
think no
basically
matter
what we're
it's gonna
doing. And
work.
it's what's happening at Truist Park, where they're like, throw it. Like, who is
It
sitting
doesn't
there?
even look good.
Who
It
is
doesn't
sitting
look
there
good.
at Truist Park? Who's like, I got an idea. We're going to do this burger, and let's throw a lobster tail on it. Like, what do we have extra lobster tails just laying around in Atlanta?
I think they were going for, hey, we're it's the world champion burger, so it's going to be like only the classiest ingredients. That's why there was something about gold and what was it? Gold leaf wrapped foie gras. What? What is a gold leaf wrapped foie gras?
I don't know.
Just sounds absurd.
I have no idea.
I'm not. I would never be interested in buying that. I would go ahead and pass on that immediately. I've never been to a Braves game, but I don't know what other iconic foods they have. But I would certainly pass on that. I know for Orioles games, it was always the Old Bay stand.
Let's get to a couple of you who are weighing in here on these burger topics. What is your perfect burger? Is where we're going. Ray says if we're going to talk burgers, then we have to mention the bad bleeping burger from Bad Daddy's. It is a double cheeseburger, fully loaded with 4 strips of battered, deep fried bacon. Ray says, I don't think there's anyone alive who could get their mouth over this burger from top to bottom without smashing it down flat. All right, so there's that one. Jeff from Kershaw says thick grilled burger, onions, cheese melted on top of onions, heavy ketchup and mayo, Wonder Bread bun. Okay,
I always do want onions on my burger as well.
Teddy D weighing in this morning: bacon, jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, lettuce, onion, and ketchup. So we've got that. David asking, Patrick, is there a slice of American on the pimento burger?
No. Sometimes I'll do pepper jack because it's different. But if I'm making a burger, it's gonna have pepper jack cheese or cheddar jack.
Brent,
always spicy cheese.
Brent on our text line giving a shout out to the Janie Burger in Sandy Run at Pete's store, grilled onions, grilled bun, bacon. We got that going. So, yeah, a lot of you weighing in this morning on your different burger concoctions. This is all off of, you can go and check it out, the World Champions burger that is being served over at Truist Park. You eat that thing, like you become part of the show, right? Like people around you are watching you try to eat that. Now they're not so much watching the game. They're watching you try to eat, then digest that thing, and then figuring out how to get you out of the stadium, right?
You take a date to the ballpark and she says, I really want to try this world champion burger. Can you please get it for me?
That brings up the question. If she says that, is there a second date?
No, there's automatically not a second date.
Or is that the scenario where you get up and you're like, yeah, sure, baby, I'll go get it for you. And you move sections and you don't go back to her seat next to her. You just go ahead and go find a seat in the outfield or something.
I'm only getting you the replica ring, though.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for the real one.
803-404-6100, how you can join us this morning. Continue to weigh in with your burger concoctions there and give us a couple of them. Ben says it's easy, guys. Just add Mac sauce to the McDoubles from McDonald's and call it a day. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's another one. Justin saying maple bacon wrapped stuffed burgers with sauteed mushrooms, onions, mozzarella cheese with lettuce, ketchup, mayo. All right, so a couple of some really good ideas here.
Mushrooms, crispy onions, bacon, and barbecue is a solid burger.
Another good one for you.
It's a solid burger.
All right, so we got that going this morning. We have, again, talked a lot about a couple other things. South Carolina, Georgia, baseball tonight. Gamecocks try to build off of the 15-2 victory that they had over North Carolina. And the other story involving a South Carolina player that we got into a little bit, Patrick, in hour number one, Deebo Samuel. And someone asked, and I think it's a fair question, you said the Amari Cooper contract, because let's repeat to everybody what is happening with Deebo Samuel. Give a little breakdown. He has done some social media passive-aggressive dislike with the 49ers.
Yes, or it seems that way. I mean, he could potentially be trolling, and we're really not sure what it means. It's kind of hard to read too deep into it, but it's also hard to say that it's not a something. It's not a complete nothing. So he has pretty much removed the 49ers from his social media, deleted them from posts that he's posted with them. He unfollowed them, all that stuff. And it's the last year of his rookie deal, and it's clear that he wants an extension. He wants a long-term contract, and it's believed by most people that he wants to be right up there with the highest paid receivers in the league. I don't know if he's usually the next guy up in whatever it might be, the next quarterback free agent, the next big offensive line free agent, they all want to be the highest paid. They want to set the new bar. I don't know if Debo is expecting to set the bar, because also he's in the same position as a lot of other guys in his class. That draft class that he was in was awesome. It was him. Also up for extensions are the next class is A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Terry McLaurin were all in the same class. And all those guys are extension eligible right now. And there's kind of trade rumors circling all of them. I don't think any of them will or should get traded. But Debo's kind of an interesting scenario. If he's willing to walk next year and he's willing to not accept anything other than being the highest paid wide receiver in the league, I would say absolutely not. We're just not doing that. If he wants $30 million a year, then that's just ridiculous to me. So the Amari Cooper contract, which I threw out and said that's pretty much the max that I'd go for Debo, was 5 years, $100 million. So $20 million even. You guarantee, I don't know, $70 million of it if you want to be generous. I mean, that's basically what Stephon Diggs just got. So that's kind of what I would say is you're a $20 million receiver. And if you're asking for more and saying that's unacceptable, then we're going to have to look at trade partners.
Debo Samuel is a very good football player. I'm not questioning Debo Samuel. What I'm asking you, Patrick, is Debo Samuel a great football player, or is he the way he is because of Kyle Shanahan and is a product of the system? Because we talked about it. I don't know where you would put, if you just slotted Debo Samuel specifically as a wide receiver, because part of the allure of Debo Samuel, part of what makes him good is the ability to line him up and do so many different things and move him all around the field, put him in the backfield, hand the football to him as a running back and let him run behind guys to run him on jet sweeps. You're not seeing every wide receiver be able to do that. Like a perfect example, Alshon Jeffrey obviously was an incredible wide receiver and a South Carolina prospect product. Brian Edwards, let's go with another guy who's in the league right now from South Carolina. Brian Edwards is someone, you're not lining Brian Edwards, Alshon Jeffrey up as a running back and handing him off the football. Right. And really, you're not really doing jet sweeps with either of those two guys in the past or now for Brian Edwards. Debo Samuel can be utilized in so many different ways. Is he a product of Kyle Shanahan's system, or is he that good of a player?
I think he is the best wide receiver in the NFL with the ball in his hands. Once he's got the ball in his hands, maybe you say Tyreek Hill just because of pure blazing speed. But in terms of turning into a running back, whether it's a screen or actually being handed the ball or just catching a slant and having to make guys miss, his power, I mean, he's built like a running back. That's why he's so good at it. He's so strong in his lower half that he can just run through tackles. And I mean, that touchdown he had against Dallas was ridiculous. He's really, really good with the ball in his hands. But is he, in terms of just pure wide receiver, is he the best or in that conversation? I mean, I guess you can say he's in that conversation, but he's also got a checkered injury history. I mean, he missed time at South Carolina. He only played 12 games once his senior year, and he's already missed games in the NFL. He played 15 games his rookie year, 7 games his second year, and 16 games his third year. So last year was the first year that he almost played a full season, and you're handing him the ball off. He's getting different types of contact. When you're running between the tackles, that's different than catching the ball in space and just being dragged down by a small corner. Like, I'm not concerned about Devontae Adams' injury because he's had injuries too. He's been bagged up, but when he's just a pure route runner and the only people that are tackling him are like safeties dragging him down by his shoelaces, that's a different type of contact than running into a defensive tackle, running into Vita Vea, or getting drilled by a Devin White. Like, it's just different. I would be worried about his durability going forward. So if Debo's demanding to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL, I think that's a mistake on his part. And I always think that the unfollowing of the team is just a really childish move.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's the story. If you're just tuning in, wondering, while we're talking a little Debo Samuel again yesterday, he removed 80 plus posts or whatever on Instagram. I feel so old. Yeah. But of the 49ers, he unfollowed them. He changed his profile picture. So he's just going rogue. And I'm with you on this. It's kind of a stupid
story.
It's something that the one of my kids, the 9 and the 12-year-old, would do to get back at their father for when I make them go to bed early. And instead, it's Deebo Samuel doing it to the San Francisco 49ers.
Austin gets mad from you and unsubscribes from the YouTube page.
This will teach Dad right now. I've got him. He understands my fury and my wrath. So we'll do that. We'll get into some other stuff here this morning as well. We got plenty to get to. Again, we've obviously talked a lot about the Masters. We'll get back into that a little bit and get into South Carolina baseball a little bit tonight. Coming up at 8:05 this morning, we'll catch up with Chris Deering for the Corley Pools High School Highlights of the Week. Baseball in full swing across the state. And keep sending in your burger suggestions. Adam weighs in. He says, the Hangover Brunch Burger from Grill Marks is my favorite. Cheddar cheese, bacon, fried egg, barbecue sauce minus the onion straws, pair with a s'mores shake tail, and you can't go wrong. Good Lord. It sounds like a nap is needed right after that. Michael says a burger needs lettuce, American cheese, tomatoes, ketchup, mayo, optional, and bacon if applicable. It's always applicable. And he says buns are good, but between two slices of bread is clutch. And Max, have you ever been to Max?
No.
Yeah, but Max is really good. It's not far from your house. Max has the best burgers in Columbia, but they skimp on the fries. David says pimento cheese, bacon, fresh jalapenos, fried green tomato on grilled sourdough with boar's head peppercorn mayo. You guys are coming up with a lot of good stuff here. And then anonymous texter, hey guys, Gary. Thank you, Gary, for weighing in. 2 seasoned hand-pressed patties, barbecue sauce, bacon, pepper jack cheese, grilled onions, brioche bun, toasted with Kerrygold's butter. So a lot of you weighing in. Lee, bacon, pineapple, jalapeno, barbecue sauce, pepper jack with Old Bay seasoning. So, okay, we are known as a foodie show, and this one has taken quite the turn with the burger discussion. We'll continue down that. If you've got a burger suggestion, feel free to weigh in. If you want to weigh in on Deebo Samuel or on South Carolina baseball or the Masters, we are open to everything this morning. You're listening to Bill Gunner and Patrick Pratt. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up on the next Extra Point.
Hey guys, Pearson Fowler here from the Extra Point, and coming up on the Friday Extra Point, plenty more from the Masters and a lot of Carolina football as the Gamecocks gear up for their second scrimmage of the spring. Plus, the Gamecock baseball team set to host another top 25 team at Founders Park. We'll have a full report and preview of that series, plus a lot more. It's the Extra Point, 9 o'clock.
The Extra Point with Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central. 9 a.m. to noon on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Tell you what, you eat some of these burgers, you're probably going to have some joint pain. Some of these things, man, add some weight to you in a heartbeat, and then you try to get out and play basketball in the yard or go and hit a golf ball. Next thing you know, you got a little joint pain because you ate a huge meal and then tried to enjoy a little bit of sports activity. And if that's the case, you got some joint pain, you got some issues with some muscles or ligaments, it's time for you to call QC Kinetics. 803-281-6860. Again, that's 803-281-6860. You can get a free consultation or a free second opinion. You can learn all about their amazing natural biologic treatments. That's right. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for that free consultation. 803-281-6860. QC Kinetics is helping people here and all over America get real, lasting pain relief by using highly concentrated, cutting-edge natural biologic treatments. And again, it doesn't require surgery, doesn't require some kind of addictive pain medications. It's just simple biologic treatments that you can find all about by calling QC Kinetics. 803-281-6860. Again, get back to enjoying what you love, especially this time of year, by getting a free consultation if you're suffering from pain. 803-281-6860. That is QC Kinetics.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
And seeing 2 collisions to report right now. The first one is going to be on Platte Springs Road and MC Lee Road, and the other is going to be on Two Notch Road and Sparkleberry Lane.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored
by
Indeed.com.
If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring.
There you go. Stretch for a minute.
Towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply. Are you tired of looking at your lawn and seeing ugly weeds? Hey, this is Paul Armstrong, proud owner of Living Country. Thank you. Help me. Our trained technicians use a proven program. Years of
We'll go 2 breaks.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one will be 5 minutes plus your spot. So if we're out by like 40, we can 45, 46 is fine.
What's an affordable well modern medicine for personal hygiene actually code? But considering bathing means
All right. Let me find a good picture.
like cleaning your nose and pulling your nose body care. The first one just allergy, bacteria, and viruses. But endogenous medicine is more like fun. Endogenous power very active crap. And now it's like so you can stay yourself.
I can't find a. All right, this. All right, so here is the picture of the Reese's and barbecue sandwich that T sent us. That's just, I don't know what to say about that. It just doesn't look good. Not sure what the Royals are doing there. Yeah. All right, this is. Would you eat this? It's got to upload. But this was basically the go-to at Camden Yards that we would always get.
Well, that looks awful. What is that? Oh, that's a crab.
Soft shell crab, yeah.
I had a soft shell crab sandwich one time at some place in Charleston, and I didn't like it. It wasn't good.
So good. From the Old Bay stand. Or you get Chesapeake fries, just fries covered in crab dip. That's always delicious too.
Yeah, I can see where that'd be good.
I want to find a picture of what I ate this weekend. Oh, yeah, here we go. I had a wild hot dog this weekend too. I want to find a picture there. This was a hot dog I ate this weekend with, what did it say? It had cream cheese, bacon, grilled onion, jalapeno, and secret sauce.
Where was that at? Daddy's Dogs?
Daddy's Dogs. It was a food truck that was at a brewery in Nashville. We got 2 hot dogs. The other one was, what was on it? Bacon, cheddar cheese, onion, and barbecue sauce.
Okay.
It was good. But that one was interesting. The cream cheese and jalapeno.
We've convinced Anthony tonight is going to be a burger night, huh?
Wow, nobody was in on the soft shell crab. It's delicious.
I don't know.
There was not one positive review of that sandwich, but I'm telling you, it's delicious. All right, we're back.
$7:31 on a Friday morning, March. I had to keep calling the month of March. It's April the 8th. April the 8th. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett. We have been all over the map here early on a Friday morning. Hopefully you are up and enjoying what is going to be, I think, a beautiful day. Should be nice and kind of warm. And tomorrow, though, mid-50s. Good times around here. So get you ready for the weekend. Get the kids off to school. We've been talking this morning about the Masters. Obviously, Sungjae Im in the lead, a 5-under-67 yesterday from the Korean as he takes command of the Masters with a 5-under-67. Cameron Smith, who a lot of you are weighing in as your pick, shoots a 68 yesterday, 4-under-68. He had a double bogey on number 1 and a double bogey on 18. Other than that, he put in 8 birdies yesterday. And I tell you what, Patrick, one thing that we have not discussed this morning, there was a talking point yesterday with Casey Kerr when he joined us. There was a talking point with Kyle Thompson, is the fact that number 11 yesterday, it jumped up and bit some people. Number 11 is a different hole right now than players are accustomed to playing. The way they've restructured it, moved the tees back and moved them a little bit further left. And yesterday, Cameron Smith able to make par on 18 and Sungjae Im making bogey. Excuse me, I said 18. Cameron Smith making par on number 11. Sungjae Im making bogey on number 11. That's a hole that's going to play very big this weekend. When you follow golfers through their round, keep a close eye on number 11 because
seeing how they adjust to it after.
Right.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna have 2 days, and then we'll get into just how guys adjust going into the weekend. Dustin Johnson also having a par yesterday on number 11. He shoots a 3-under-69 yesterday. He is right there in contention. That's who I kind of like this weekend.
If I offered you, do you have the leaderboard right in front of you?
I do.
So all the guys that are tied for third place. First set, Sungjae Im, Cameron Smith, Dustin, Danny Willett, Joaquin Niemann, Scotty Scheffler. Them or the field?
I like Dustin Johnson. I would take the field because you just better odds and because people are still stacked together. And I think somebody's going to come from out of nowhere.
Who's out of contention right now?
Sandy Lyle.
Is that really like if Brooks Koepka's at 3 over? How unlikely would it be that he could climb back from, I guess, 8 strokes back and win it?
Yeah, I think Brooksy could make a run. He's gonna.
How unheard of is that?
It's not unheard of. Okay. It's not. Has he put himself kind of in a questionable position?
Like
yes.
Bryson's at 4 over. He's done, right?
Yeah, he doesn't look good. He
JT's 4 over too. What's going on with him?
He came apart. That was the guy that I thought, and I think that was Casey Kerr's pick. Am I right on that? He mentioned picking up Bones McKay as his caddy. And expecting him to have a big part of that. Yeah, Justin Thomas yesterday shoots a 4-over-76. And again, you look at it, he started with a bogey on 1, got back to even on 3, shot 37 going out, but then 3 over on the back 9, bogeying 10, 16, and 18 yesterday. It was...
some of the biggest names in golf had tough days. Like Rahm, Spieth, Schauffele, all right there at 2 over.
Yep.
Patrick Reed, who's won a Masters, is 2 over. I mean, a lot of people struggled to get under yesterday.
I think realistically, I wouldn't rule out Koepka. I think he's fully capable of going low today and maybe getting back into it. Brooks Koepka tees off at 10:45 this morning. I wouldn't rule him out. But after about Koepka, I don't really see anybody being able to make a run. I think that you'll see the number creep closer to 10 under. The typical Masters winning score is right around double digits, right in between about 9 and 11. Somewhere right in there. So I think what you're looking at, though, is anybody who's +2 or better is in contention. To answer your question, I think
What's
2.
the cut usually?
Um,
Isn't it like 10 strokes of the lead within the lead or something like that? I've heard because when I've heard all the talk about the Tiger odds are always the most bet, and the Tiger to make the cut, I think, is one of the most bet props of this entire tournament. And everyone has been saying that this is one of the easiest cuts to make in all of the PGA.
So the format changed on the Masters in 2020. It is now top 50 in ties. It's no more within 10 strokes of the lead. It used to be top 50 in ties or within 10 strokes of the lead. Now it is just flat out top 50 in ties. Kind of interesting the way the Masters has done it from 1962 to 2012. It was the top 44 players, top 44, and anyone within 10 strokes of the lead. From 2013 to 2019, it became the top 50 and ties or within 10 strokes of the lead. They did make the adjustment in 2020, starting with top 50 and ties. No more within 10 strokes of the lead. So it's just the top 50 that will make it, and ties that will make it to tomorrow. So hard to say if we're just kind of ballparking it, Patrick. Right now, you're looking at somewhere between +2 and +3 is where it's at right in there. So
Okay.
it'll be interesting.
Kiz is at 3 over 2. Tough day for Kisner.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys yesterday.
Louis Oosthuizen, and isn't he usually great in the Masters too?
He's been pretty good. Yep, I've got him in one of my little pools that I'm participating in. So we'll see. So a lot of Masters talk this morning. Certainly with it going on down in Augusta next week, we'll be down in Hilton Head for the Heritage, and I believe we have a winner. Let me pull this back up. I believe we have a winner for our contest where we were giving away prizes to the RBC Heritage. Todd, and I apologize, Todd, if I mispronounce your name, Stiegel, I believe, Steagall, has won a pair of VIP access passes to the RBC Heritage next Thursday with Buford Lending in their VIP tent on the 18th fairway. So at Todd Stiegall, I apologize, Steagall. If you know Todd, tell him congratulations. Maybe be a little bit nicer to him. Maybe buy him lunch. He has won a pair of VIP access passes to the RBC Heritage next Thursday down at Hilton Head, 18th fairway VIP tent with Buford Lending. So congratulations. And again, Todd, if you want to call in 803-404-6100 and tell us how you pronounce your last name. I'm sure it's not that hard. I'm just making it more difficult than it really is. Stiegall, Todd Stiegall, Steagall is how he pronounces his name. And he has won a pair of VIP access passes to the RBC Heritage next Thursday down in Hilton Head. Congratulations to him. 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. We talked about that tonight. Patrick, it's hard to figure out this South Carolina baseball team, what exactly they're going to be, who they're going to be. 14-14 on the season, 3-6 in conference play is what South Carolina sits at. And I feel like, I guess, credit to them that, let's say, hypothetically, they sweep this weekend, they get to 500 in conference, they get to 17-14. Because of strength of schedule and because of some of the wins, you can't rule out the postseason just yet, right? Like, that's kind of the crazy part. We've seen the really bad losses, but because of some of the wins, they're still, like, legitimately at least in play for postseason.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be, if they just go on a ridiculous run to end the season, then sure, the postseason will be in play for a while. But if you lose another series or something bad happens this weekend, then it's just the closer we get to the end, the less people are gonna believe that that's even a possibility. Like right now, I still need to be proven wrong, I guess, because I don't believe that they're a postseason team. Every time something good happens, it's 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. I guess that's not really the statement, but you just lose ugly games that you have no business losing, and then go out there and beat the number 4 team in the country or beat the at the time number 1 team in the country. And it doesn't make any sense. If they go out there and sweep Georgia, that might change my opinion. That might be a little bit different because they haven't shown that they can do that yet. They don't have a sweep on the resume. I mean, they couldn't even sweep UNC Greensboro, and in fact, they were lucky to even win that series. So you go out there and you sweep the number 14 team in the country. Okay, I'll kind of change my tune a little bit, but I just think the odds of that are so low. I think they're far more likely to get swept than sweep. So yeah, go out there and prove everybody wrong and see if you can get some buyback into the program. If you sweep Georgia, that's something.
They need to win the series. I mean, obviously that's
Yeah,
without
they need to win
saying,
every series now.
They do, but yeah, obviously you need a good weekend here, and who knows? I think fans are still invested to some extent, trying to keep an eye on what this team can do
I mean,
because
people were
of
fired
some
up
of the good
after the North
wins.
Carolina game. Like people were really happy. I'm talking like wanting to rub it in North Carolina's face, and they'll be excited for this weekend because so many people just hate Georgia that you'll want to stick it to Georgia. But if you lose this series, will you be as fired up for Ole Miss? No, certainly not.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in this morning. A couple of you weighing in on the Masters. Anonymous texter says the early tee times at the Masters yesterday were harder conditions due to the rain. Agree with that. He's saying it also as it pertains to Kevin Kisner. Hot Sauce Ross, who probably enjoys some hot sauce on his hamburger, says he wants Kisner to have a good day. Also loves seeing Fred Couples make the cut. 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program.
Stephen from Blythewood says, move on. We have no clue. We also have no clue what's going to happen in the Carolina baseball series this weekend, so might as well not talk about it.
Yeah, no, Stephen doesn't send in many good texts. A lot of his points are never very good, so we'll move on from that. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Game time with Heath Klein, 3 to 6 p.m. on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Getting a great night of sleep, probably pretty important for the golfers down in Augusta this week. For a Sports Talk radio show host doing a show in the morning, it is pretty important as well. That is why I use Sleep Number, because I need a great night of sleep. Put that Sleep Number setting on 45, and I am ready to go each and every morning. And you can do the same with a Sleep Number bed. I'm telling you what, the sleep you get, the adjustability, it's all phenomenal with a Sleep Number bed. Find out for yourself. Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because every great day starts the night before. Save up to $800 on select Sleep Number 360 smart beds, plus special financing and free premium delivery when you add a base, but the deal ends Monday. So make the switch today. 2 stores to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, this is all subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. Again, save $800 on select Sleep Number 360 smart beds, plus special financing and free premium delivery when you add a base, but the deal ends Monday. So get to a Sleep Number store today. Make the switch to Sleep Number and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
And going to start with a defective traffic light. So be careful if you are driving on Hardscrabble Road and Farrow Road. Again, the traffic light is not functioning there. Also got an accident on Old Charleston Road and Calks Ferry Road. And then finally another collision reported on Round Top Church Road and Langford Road.
Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather. But there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster.
Yeah, Georgia's down its best pitcher. I agree, York. You gotta cover the burger. You gotta cover the burger in bacon. You can't just you gotta cover the burger in bacon. Hey, we gotta play that. Can you print off that little promo code wherever it's at? I gotta read.
I'm supposed to find out what the word is.
I don't know. I think it's just part of.
Jen sent me something about it.
I'm not worried about anything else because I think that fires without you doing anything.
I could put it in, but how do we know what the word is?
Great question. Do you want to text her real quick? You should just say, where do we find the word?
Go to promo code, look for. Yeah, I mean, this is what I put on there.
But, well, there's this little sheet. I might be able to look at this little sheet. Somebody had one right here. Yeah, I can. Just do the word over there. Yeah, so yes, it was coin. So I'll just read a dot on it. All right, that makes sense. Now you can fire that now.
All right. I agree with that, York. The bacon needs to be crispy. I also hate when people put chewy bacon on the burger and you just kind of pull it off. It just pulls all the way off. Now we will get the board in the studio. Let's see. Spring game. I'll get the board in the studio next week. I'll get it here. My car is small, but I'll figure out a way to get it here. And then we'll have it for definitely full on for draft week. Yeah, I was looking at the calendar. Yeah, we'll get it here.
Jensen.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The early game, 107.5.
The game.
7:50 on a Friday morning, April the 8th. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette getting you through. Jen taking the day off to spend a little family time. She is doing quite well. She was a little under the weather yesterday during the show, but texted with her last night, and she is feeling much, much better and ready to enjoy a nice weekend with her family. So she got the day off. She'll be back on Monday. Until then, we've got you going for one more hour. Coming up after this, Chris Deering will join us at 8:05 this morning for the Corley Pools High School highlights of the week. and we'll get you through that. Some news yesterday with South Carolina basketball. Lamont Paris announcing the hiring of Kerry Rich as a special assistant to the head coach. We're still waiting, though. I think more importantly now you wait, Patrick, and see if there's news today. I believe there's a board of trustees meeting to ratify some contracts, or at least a singular contract, to see who the assistant coaches are. Again, you've got time. You've got time with the transfer portal and everything to get out and do some recruiting and find some guys via the portal. I don't know how much you can do with the high school prospects. G.G. Jackson has said he will not reclassify to 2023, but I don't think you're counting on him coming to South Carolina now. He's probably going to go Duke, North Carolina, somewhere else. So you kind of remove him from the conversation as it pertains to next year's roster. But you do need to get some assistant coaches in here, and I think Lamont Paris already has an idea. Tanner Bronson probably going to be one of those guys. But Patrick, it would be good to go ahead and start getting your staff together, getting the important assistants that are going to do the actual coaching and recruiting into your program so that you can move forward and start identifying other prospects to start building out your roster. Again, I'll admit, I'm surprised at this point we have not heard from Keyshawn Bryant on what he's doing. I would think that by now he's got a good feel for what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, like, I would understand kind of waiting for information or input and putting some feelers out there, but pretty confident he's not getting drafted. You know, like, there was an announcement yesterday from Drew Timme from Gonzaga. He's going pro. I think that's a mistake, by the way. I think he's going to make more money in college basketball being the face of college basketball than a middling NBA player at best. But Keyshawn Bryant's not getting drafted. I mean, unless he's waiting to find out that he might get drafted or go to the combine and then pull his name back out. If he's considering coming back to college, that's the only reason, right? That he hasn't announced.
Well, or
like, what are you waiting for?
Would
if he knew that last year was his last year and he's going pro of some degree, he's going to go overseas or whatever it might be, then yes, I'm with you. There's no reason to have not already announced.
Well, I would, and I'm being serious when I say this. We are all probably aware of what's going on over in Europe with Ukraine and Russia, and having known guys in the past that have gone over, I don't know if going over, even though, Italy, France, Germany right now seems stable.
You go to Australia, New Zealand, there's leagues there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know what, I'll admit, those are two countries, as you said that out loud, I don't know what the pay is there for that.
Who's the New Zealand Breakers? There was the guy that got
who was it? What ball went there? Did one of the balls?
He played in Lithuania, I thought. I thought that LaMelo played in Lithuania.
Okay. All right. I thought one of the balls went to the Breaker. You're right about the New Zealand Breakers or Australia. I can't remember. But all I'm saying with Keyshawn Bryant, he might be better if you don't want to play at South Carolina next year.
RJ Hampton, by the way.
RJ. Okay. Thank you. If you don't want to play at South Carolina next year, your best bet is to follow your buddy Jermaine Cousinard and try and transfer to another college program. Because I'm with you on the pro potential of the NBA potential, I should say, or the G League potential for Keyshawn Bryant. I don't see it there. Now, can you go somewhere else and play? Do you think Lamont Paris and South Carolina give you the best option? It is kind of interesting with South Carolina basketball again that for a guy like Bryant, we haven't heard his intentions just yet. Look, I think Keyshawn Bryant does at times make some really bad plays. He has the ability to make a really bad play. But I'll admit, if you're looking at this roster, Patrick, we've also seen Keyshawn Bryant have some big games. He's capable in the right system.
Well, he would be the best player in the team right now.
He's capable in the right system of being a great centerpiece for which Lamont Paris can build around next year. I mean,
he's exactly the size that you kind of want as that slashing wing, and he makes completely show-stopping plays all the time. Like he has some of if you just put together a 90-second highlight reel, he'd have one of the most impressive highlight reels in the country.
I think we can all agree defensively, rebounding, you'd love to have him on your team. What you got to corral is some of the we've all seen Keyshawn Bryant just like dribble from the wing into the middle for a jump shot and just lose the basketball. Just lose it. Like the ball, nobody's even guarding him. The ball just.
And at this point, it's the off-season talk every year has been, okay, let's improve the ball handling and the shooting this offseason. At this point, he is what he is.
Right.
Like, I don't think anyone expects that to change at this point, even if he did come back.
But I think for a guy that a lot of us thought would definitely be on his way out, the fact that we see here on April 8th, there's still a lot of time. So who knows? And for all I know, in the next hour, an announcement will come out on a Friday, and we'll all look like, like we didn't know what we were talking about.
No, it won't happen the next hour. It'll happen at 9
o'clock, or 8:55, right as we're wrapping up the show. But we'll see what happens. But I think right now that's a good sign that he's not. Maybe that's a guy that Lamont Paris got to. You talk about him, throw in Josh Gray there. Maybe Chico Carter Jr. as your 2 guard, a guy who scored the ball well at Murray State, and I thought scored decently last year at times when he got opportunities. We'll see what happens as Lamont Paris tries to put together this staff and get out and recruit. Certainly, you got to get out and be able to do that. We'll get into some high school information. The Corley Pools High School Highlights of the Week up next with Chris Deering, and we will cover some other topics in hour number 3. It's Bill Gunner, it's Patrick Pratt, the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL.
I love that the not top 10 is they just showed DeAndre Jordan throwing a pass like into like the 7th row on a fast break, just way over somebody's head.
Just such a Clemson fan thing to text. Keyshawn Bryant couldn't start for Florida. He is awful.
Washington and the side of the backboard.
What happened? No.
He goes to dunk it, and you know how people get hung up on the rim?
Yeah.
He just runs into the side. He goes to dunk it. He's got the ball cocked back, and he just hits the side of he's coming from the baseline. He just hits the side of the backboard.
Who was it?
Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
All right, Bill, I'm going to play the thing before the open.
Okay, as soon as I hear it, I know dollar.
It'll be right after the Love Chevy. It's coming up in 10 seconds, basically.
It's time for your chance to win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 grand prize. Just text the following national keyword to 95819. Your national keyword to text is
dollar, DOLLAR. Dollar. Again, that's DOLLAR, dollar.
Text that national keyword to 95819. Standard text messaging rates may apply. Please don't text and drive. The 25K cash grab on 107.5 The Game.
The early game.
I've definitely earned it after this morning.
You've only been in here for 49 minutes. You're good.
Patrick, would you not agree?
It's nothing short of hazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Bill Gunter, Patrick Perret, and Jen Jensen.
Somebody on the live stream said that I'm just being a jerk to Jen and I'm hazing her. So
And the thing is, I appreciate, she must not listen to the show that often, and I do appreciate that. He's a jerk all the time. So it's not like this is new.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
It's odd how winners get classified as jerks. I am with you.
Oh my God. You can't stop yourself.
It is strange how that happens.
107.5 The Game.
$8:01 on a Friday morning. Got a little Dunkin' Donuts coffee going. We are up. We are at 'em. One more hour. We'll catch up with Chris Deering here in just a second for the Corley Pools high school highlights of the week. We'll talk a lot about some Forest Acres Classic going on over at AC Flora. You got a bracket A and a bracket B, River Bluff, Flora, Hammond, and Westminster, all on one particular side of the bracket. That'll be starting Sunday with a home run derby, and then you will actually have the games starting Monday. So we'll catch up with Chris Deering and talk some high school baseball here in just a second. Again, if you want to weigh in on anything, 803-404-6100 is how you can be a part of the program this morning. We've talked a lot, obviously, about the Masters. Sung J M with a 5 under 67 yesterday. He is in the lead, followed by Cameron Smith of Australia and Dustin Johnson right behind them at 3 under. So we will get going here in just a few minutes from down in Augusta. We'll kind of keep you updated for the next hour on what's going on down there. We've talked about Deebo Samuel and his passive-aggressive actions toward the San Francisco 49ers, and we'll see what happens with him. We'll get back into that here in just a little while, talking a little bit at Lamont Paris as we wait to see him fill out his staff maybe this weekend and also do some recruiting and where things could go for him. We've also talked about the Atlanta Braves, both selling a $151 World Champions burger, which then led us to ask what you put on your hamburgers. Ben said fried mac and cheeseburger from River City Cafe in Murrells Inlet. Also had a burger called the Chewy from a barbecue place that used to be on Rosewood by the tracks. It was a barbecue, bacon, and cheese on top, a middle bun, and a burger, bacon, grilled onions, and cheese on the bottom. That sounds like a lot. That's a full-on, 2-day meal there that Ben weighs in with. So a lot of things we've discussed this morning. The other thing with the Braves was Ronald Acuna and Freddie Freeman. Apparently not good friends. Apparently not great friends. So we will continue getting into some of that as we move through the hour. But now we get out to the Love Chevy phone lines to our good buddy, Chris Deering. You can follow him on Twitter at CDeering82. It is time for the Corley Pools high school highlights of the week. You can call Corley Pools for all your pool solution needs, flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals, 803-445-8109. Chris, welcome in. We're finally getting a little bit better weather, almost that spring baseball weather that we always look forward to.
Yeah, this week was a little bit of a challenge for a lot of schools around the area with the weather we had, and I think this weekend we might have a little cool down, but after that it looks like it's definitely back into the 80s, and these coaches are pretty excited about that, and get their seasons wrapped up. We have most schools in this area, which I think all schools in this area are on spring break next week. And that leads to a bunch of, mid-season tournaments. And then you come back and really it's only about 2 weeks left in the regular season and you get into the playoffs. So exciting times. I know teams are jockeying for position for playoffs right now. And I think Blythewood actually won their region this week already. So they sort of clinched first place in that region. And that's some baseball. So big time for them. And, exciting times. We're looking forward to some spring break tournament next week for baseball and soccer. And I plan on getting out to a little bit of all of it. I hope so. I hope anyway.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, the Forest Acres Classic. It has been a staple of Midlands high school baseball for years. Andy Hallett and AC Flora putting on a great event over there. I've actually been on the call for a couple games in the past. Talk a little bit about that tournament this weekend. I see that one side of the bracket has 3 local teams, River Bluff, AC Flora, and Hammond. The other bracket B, I believe that's Gray Collegiate, Nations Ford, and Eastside all in there. So let's talk a little bit about that bracket A. You get a couple really good matchups. Wednesday will be one of the better ones when River Bluff and AC Flora face off at 8:00 over there. But talk a little bit about that particular tournament and what AC Flora's got going on.
Yeah, that's a great tournament. I've done the same thing as you, Bill. I've been on the radio call for those games in the past, and just one of the best run tournaments that you can have. Andy Hallett does a great job with the entire thing. And he's got a pretty stacked field this year. I mean, it's every year they have a stacked field in the Forest Acres Classic. And, you look at that bracket A, I'll be honest with you, any of those 4 teams can win it, I think. And the team from out of state is Westminster. They're down from Miami, Florida. That might be the school A-Rod went to. That might be the high school he attended way back in the day. So they got a really good program. I looked up their record yesterday. They're like 13-3, I think. River Bluff, they still only lost to Lexington. They beat Dutch Fork twice this week. They do play again tonight against the Dutch Fork. So River Bluff has been really good. Bo Hollins has had a really big week. I think he pitched the other night against Dutch Fork. They won that game. I think he had maybe 6 RBIs. Last night he had 3 RBIs. So Bo Hollins, the South Carolina commit, really heating up now for River Bluff. Flora, again, they go sort of unnoticed maybe in the regular season because they sort of run away with that region and win it pretty easily year in and year out. And people maybe forget about them till it comes playoff time. But, I mean, Andy Hallett could be there every single year. And I think we've talked about that before. And then Hammond. I mean, I've not seen Hammond since I went to a preseason scrimmage over there. And that's why I'm looking forward to getting the AC Flora next week. I want to see Hammond play a couple times, maybe see Tucker Toman. They had a bunch of rain this week. They didn't get anything in. They were supposed to play Cardinal Newman, which I think that might be a preview of maybe the state championship series. They should resume the game that they started, I think, Wednesday night, and the rain came in, so they can resume that game tonight. And then the game that was scheduled for tonight is postponed after spring break. So that's a really good bracket. And then the other side, you got Gray Collegiate, who's played very well. They lost to Oceanside a couple weeks ago, but they've rebounded from that loss. They got a lot of good pitching for Gray Collegiate. And then a couple upstate teams and Nations Ford and Eastside. Don't know a lot about them right now. And then the other team is Miller School out of Virginia. Former Major League reliever Billy Wagner is the coach of that school, and they've come down several times for this Forest Acres Classic. So that they always have a good program as well. So it should be a great game. They're starting Monday at 11 o'clock. I plan on going there for lunch one day at least. See what I can get into at lunchtime over there. But it should be great times. I think that tournament runs through Thursday. And like I said, Andy Hallett does a great job. If you're in the downtown area and don't have anything to do one afternoon, I highly suggest just running over there and checking that tournament out.
He's Chris Deering joining us as he does each and every week for the Corley Pools High School Highlights of the Week. Again, for all your pool cleaning needs, call Corley Pools, 803-445-8109. Flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Chris, you talk about that, a couple other tournaments going on around the Midlands and around the state, but let's kind of focus in on a couple teams right now. You are back, by the way, we should mention, and as you told me, you're back working with the state. And if you go there, the state newspaper, if you go there right now, you've got the top 10 teams here in the high school in the Midlands, top 10, both high baseball and softball. But highlight a couple of those teams right now that as we go towards spring break for the kids have really turned it on and are looking toward the playoffs.
Yeah, so we if you want to start with baseball, then Lou does the baseball part of the poll, so I'm going off a little bit of memory here from looking at it earlier in the week. But again, I think Blythewood is at the top. They've been good from the get go. There are a lot of seniors on that team. They have a chance to be really, really good. They will be tested in their tournament this week as they hosted over at Blythewood. They got a lot of great teams in that tournament. Spartanburg, Lexington, Chapin, Dutch Fork, Berkeley's coming up from the Low Country. Just a really good tournament there too. So Blythewood I know is really good. Lexington, we've talked about them. They had to play out of region this week because in that region there's 5 teams, so somebody always has like an off week from region play, and they went out and played Dorman, got beat the first game against Dorman, but came back and really pounded Dorman that second game. I think they had 4 home runs in the first inning of that second game. So that Lexington team can swing it. Nate Hall's going to Clemson. He's the shortstop. He's a really good athlete. And they just bring a lot to the table. Brian Hooks, we talked about him. He does it year in and year out. River Bluff, like I said, they've only lost to Lexington this year. I think, if they can get a shot at Lexington in the playoffs, I think they really would like to have that opportunity again. But they're playing well. They got a couple South Carolina commits and Bo Hollins and Thomas Powell on that team. So really good River Bluff team that's in the rankings. And like I said, I think we got to put Hammond up there with Tucker Toman, who's probably going to be drafted. I know Lou went to the game that got rained out the other night. He said there were a handful of scouts around, and maybe some of them stayed away because of the threat of rain. I'm not sure, but every time Hammond plays, they play in front of a bunch of scouts because they want to watch Tucker Toman and see what he can do. And I'm trying to pull up Lou's rankings now because I don't want to put teams out of order, really. If you got them there, Bill, I'll take them. At least you guys?
Article, premium access there. So we'll continue on.
You turned your mic off. That's why I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was sipping on my coffee, Chris. I apologize. Didn't like to do that. Be professional. Going on with that, though, you mentioned some of those teams as you were talking about. Certainly, Midlands baseball always very good, and you mentioned Lexington and River Bluff, AC Flora very good, and you were talking about Tucker Toman. Around the state, outside of the Midlands, couple teams, if you don't mind, that people should keep an eye on just as we get closer to playoff time that could challenge some of the Midlands teams that you were just talking about.
If you want to stick in 5A right now, I like Berkeley. I know I went there, maybe a little bit of bias on my part, but they've only lost 2 games this year. One of them was to Blythewood, and they've been playing really well. They have a lot of upperclassmen on that team, so I think Berkeley, last year they played in the lower state championship against Somerville, so there was no Midlands teams that even made it to the lower state championship, and so Berkeley's got experience. They know how to win in the playoffs. I really like them. East Side's really good in the upstate. Dorman's good. Like I said, they split with Lexington this week. Trying to go through the rankings in my head because the baseball coaches don't release rankings weekly like a lot of like basketball and football stuff. So I'm trying to think. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen the rankings. Actually, I know East Side is good in the upstate. Hillcrest, they won the 5A last year. They have a lot of experience back. They're really good again. So it's a talented field all across the state. There's some teams from the beach that's really good. Carolina Forest, I think, is good. St. James and 4A, they're really good. So there'll be, when the playoffs get here, like I say, we're about 3 weeks away from those starting, and there'll be a lot of interesting matchups, even in the district play, the way they do baseball and softball. A lot of district play will have a lot of good teams in it.
He is Chris Deering, joining us as he does each and every week to discuss the Corley Pools High School highlights of the week. Let's talk a little coaching, a couple coaching changes that have been made around one. Let's start with York Prep. Larry Davis, you remember him from his time at South Carolina. He has been very good up at York Prep, but he's taking the Mars Hill job. Just talk a little bit about Larry Davis, your opportunities to cover him. He was in the state championship game a few weeks ago, and your thoughts on a former South Carolina standout now moving into the college ranks.
Yeah, I've gotten to know Larry a little bit over the years. I did cover that game against Gray Collegiate in the state championship. York Prep was undefeated up until that point. And I actually talked to Larry a little bit after the season was over. I know this is something he's been wanting to do, is get into the college ranks. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised he's getting the opportunity as a head coach to start off with. I thought he'd have to go in as an assistant coach somewhere. But excited for him. I think he's going to bring a lot of passion and experience to that program, and I'm looking forward and watching to see what he can do. Don't be surprised. He had twins playing on his team this year. They were seniors. They were pretty good. I feel like they might follow him and play for him in college as well.
No official word yet, but last week last Thursday, Joshua Staley, the coach at AC Flora, who has been very, very good, stepped down at AC Flora. A lot of rumors maybe he's going to take over at Ridgeview. If he has, I have not seen it officially announced, but your take on AC Flora losing their boys basketball coach in Joshua Staley?
I mean, again, I'm like you. I don't think it's been official announced yet, but all indications are Josh Staley's taking over at Ridgeview, and that's one of the premier spots in South Carolina basketball right now with what Eric Stoneman's done, and has the potential to have Gigi Jackson back. But AC Flora, on the other hand, is not a bad job in itself. So right now you got AC Flora and York Prep open on the high school ranks, and both of those are going to draw a lot of attention, a lot of applicants. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they go in. I haven't heard anything about the AC Flora opening since it sort of happened, but I will be checking into that in the next week or two and see what the plans are going forward. But that's a premier spot, and I'll be honest, that team has a lot of experience coming back. They get back just about everybody. So Josh walked away from a great situation. I know it was a hard decision for him to make, but looking forward to what he can do at Ridgeview, and hopefully he can coach Gigi Jackson for 1 year and see what he can do with Gigi going forward.
Again, he's Chris Deering joining us, the Corley Pools High School highlights of the week. I would also like to get your opinion. Obviously, the news last night, Kerry Rich being announced to Lamont Parrish's staff as a special assistant to the head coach. Your take on that? Obviously, you're familiar with Kerry. You've seen what he's done with basketball around here, and what you think that could help with as it pertains to recruiting in the Midlands. I don't think it helps with Gigi Jackson. I think everything's a little bit too late there. I'm not sure if it'll help at all with Cam Scott, but maybe some other players in the future.
Well, as soon as that news came out yesterday, I had a couple of friends text me and ask me what I thought about that idea, and it's maybe the best hire Lamont Parrish could have made at this point. There's nobody in this state that knows high school basketball than Kerry Rich. He knows it front, back, forward, sideways. Kerry is very engaged. He's on the high school scene, on the AAU scene. If there's a kid in South Carolina that somebody needs to know about, Kerry Rich knows about him. Coaches call him, I know, all the time, asking about kids. They won't be able to do that now because Kerry will be focused on South Carolina, obviously. But I think it's a great hire. It's something I think Lamont Parrish needed to do for not only his tenure, but just for the fan base. I think the fan base is excited. I looked at Twitter last night. A lot of people are talking about Kerry Rich and him coming aboard. And, you almost look back and think, why didn't this happen before now? And why was he on Frank Martin's staff? I don't know the answers to that. But Kerry's could be an asset to Lamont Parrish. He knows every coach in the state. Don't limit it just to South Carolina. He knows coaches across the country, and he'll be able to help Lamont get some of the best players in here. And like I say, maybe close the borders a little bit. There's always been kids in South Carolina that have been good enough to play at Power 5 schools elsewhere. There's a couple right now that's in the transfer portal. Jawan Gary, who was at Alabama, played at South Carolina. There's a couple other kids too that escape my mind right now, but maybe they go out and look at those kids and see if they can bring them back home, and built around that. But I think Kerry's a great addition to the staff. I'm very happy for him. I did text with him yesterday after it was announced, and I know he's really excited to get going and help his alma mater, return to the NCAA tournament and make an impact on these kids locally, especially.
He is Chris Deering, joining us each and every week for the Corley Pools High School highlights of the week. We will continue doing this for the next few weeks as we count down. Hard to believe, Chris. I tell you what, we started doing this in August. We aren't far away. We got spring football practice for high schools just around the corner. If some schools are not already doing it, it'll be fall before you know it. We'll be back into football season, but we've got some baseball to get through. And Patrick, I know is going to need a good lacrosse update. Are you going to be able to provide a good lacrosse update for us next week?
I will. They did have that televised lacrosse game last week, and I did turn it over for a little bit and watch some of it.
Bill, you did too, right?
I did. Yeah. Okay. We all. I got into it a little bit. Yeah.
So that was exciting for those kids. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be taking some lacrosse here coming up. Tell you, my full-time job, she's actually a USC student. She's an intern for us. She helps coach over at AC Flora, and so I've been getting the lowdown from her on how things are going. So
she's from Maryland.
She is, yeah.
Of course.
So I'll be able to provide some lacrosse updates here coming soon.
We need to highlight a little bit of lacrosse. Chris, we appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend. We look forward to catching up next week.
Sounds perfect. You guys have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. Chris Deering joining us. Follow him on Twitter. Does a great job of covering the high school now and working back with the state as well at CDeering82. We'll get back into some discussion. Masters is getting going down in Augusta, round 2 this morning. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get back into the Deebo Samuel news from yesterday and where Patrick Perrette thinks. I'll ask Patrick, if Deebo's not in San Francisco, where is the best fit for Deebo Samuel in the NFL? We'll get that when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next halftime show.
Hey guys, Jay and Terry here, coming up on the Friday halftime show. More Masters coverage. Tommy will get us ready for Carolina and Georgia in SEC baseball. And we'll know right away how close I am to my prediction on the Atlanta Braves.
162 and
150 and 12. Here.
You want 150 and 12? You sticking with that?
I am. I think that's a very conservative estimate for the
I'll
World
be
Champions.
honest, it's so believable and logical. I think it could happen.
I will continue to sway everyone. That's what I attempt to do as I take over the world. Or just talk sports. Friday, noon, the halftime show.
The halftime show with Jay, Terry, and Tommy.
Noon to 3
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Tell you what, if you are out in the market for refinancing or purchasing a new home, it is still a great opportunity. You haven't missed anything just yet. You just need to get in touch with Buford Lending and Benji Getzi. That's right. The rates, they have gone up a little bit, but it's still a great opportunity, and you need to go ahead and focus on getting pre-qualified for new buys, maybe for a cash-out refinance. If you do those cash-out refinances, you get some money back in your pocket. Maybe put it towards a home improvement project you've been thinking about. Summer's around the corner. Maybe you want to redo the deck out back, or maybe you want to add some TVs or do something, and you can get some money back in your pocket with a cash-out refinancing. So give Benji Getzi and Buford Lending a call today, 843-524-2404. You can visit them on their website. Buford.mortgage is the way to do that. Again, the rates have climbed just a little bit. So right now, you need to use someone who has experience in the mortgage lending industry, and that is exactly what your mortgage broker, Benji Getzi, has. 25 years of experience. So find out today. Get a free evaluation of your current mortgage situation and what Benji and his team can do for you. 843-524-2404. Just give Benji an opportunity. That's all he asks. Call him, talk a little bit about your current situation. Let him explain to you what he can do for you. Who knows? There's never anything wrong with finding out all your options. And that's exactly what Benji and his staff can do for you. 843-524-2404. Again, that's 843-524-2404. Call Benji Getzi today. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you his way, trust me, I'll appreciate it. He'll appreciate it. And you'll be happy you did because you end up saving money in the long run. 843-524-2404. Visit them on the web, Buford.mortgage. That's Benji Getzy and Buford Lending.
1075 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
And looking at two collisions right now. The first one is going to be on Old National Highway and 2 Notch Road. The other collision is going to be on US 1 and Catawba Hill Drive.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Give yourself a new morning routine with the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. It's filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. Swing by participating locations for a limited time only. Drinks excludes freezes.
Paid by Up-Level Rewards. Hey, where did you get all that cash in your Cash App? You mean this $750 that's in my Cash App right now? Yes, that $750. Where did you get all that cash? Easy. I went to CashApp55.com and claimed $750. You claimed $750? Yeah, just go to CashApp55.com and follow the simple instructions on the site. Once you finish, the $750 is yours. It's that easy to claim $750. Yes, you just answer the basic questions on the site, then claim the deals they show you and get $750 sent to your Cash App. Well, I'm always short on cash. I'm going to CashApp55.com right now to claim my $750. Ready to claim your $750? Get started right now at CashApp55.com.
Yeah, we could have done a full 3 hours with him and not gotten tired of it. That is the bummer about having to do commercial breaks.
If you have tax problems, it can affect all aspects of your life. Now's the time to do something about it. Hi, I'm local attorney John Exton with the Exton Law Firm. Every one of our firms truly believes we can improve the lives of our clients by eliminating the stress and worry of IRS tax problems. We're a local South Carolina law firm dedicated to resolving your tax problems for good. Simply put, we solve tax problems. So if you're facing IRS tax liens, bank or wage levies, or have years of tax returns, come meet with us in person.
Craig, I don't listen to any Gamecock stuff outside this show. I don't want my opinion being influenced.
Call us now at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to our website at irsproblemsolving.com. It's time to do something about that tax problem. Your solution is right here in South Carolina. So hire a South Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Evans.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Relay.
$8:31 on a Friday morning, April.
Yeah, that's it though. A little, yeah, calmer. Borderline whisper. Yeah. Does Jim Nance has the best golf voice, right? He does golf talk the best. You call him. Yeah. I mean, they can just play quietly in the background while you talk with the Masters. This would actually be a fun game if you're just talking normally, and then every once in a while I just fire it up and you have to change your cadence. And why can't they just get along? It would be pretty fun if things were getting a little too heated on the show, and you just play that, and we both have to just stop and then just settle down. I understand where you're coming from. I just happen to have a different opinion.
Did an interview in Spanish on Wednesday night with a Dominican Republic based reporter, is what I should say, where he basically said that he would not miss Freddie Freeman at all. There was nothing he would miss about him. And basically went on to tell some stories. He also said that there was a lot of clashes. Acuna did tried, Patrick, to walk some of that back yesterday by saying that it was taken out of context. And I think you mentioned several people were like, no, we saw the video. we translated what you said. None of it was taken out of context. You were not happy at all. And so with all that being said, Freddie Freeman responding yesterday to what Ronald Acuna had to say, and basically saying, look, we had some rules in place as Braves, and I tried to uphold them, and I tried to have others, uphold these rules and the things and the way that the Braves do things. And the bottom line is some guys did not want to adhere to them. So it's a little bit of back and forth. Now, Patrick, I think we all agree that the situation with Ronald Acuna is not the reason Freddie Freeman left. He left because he got a really nice contract from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that's where he will wrap up his career. Or that's the way it looks. That he will wrap up his career there. But interesting to say the least that now you get this. And by the way, Patrick, I think you'll agree with me on this. In this day and age of egos and locker room issues, the fact that this never came out and that they were able to coexist, maybe not on the best of terms as it appears, but the fact they were able to coexist as teammates and players, and this never came to light until now, I think speaks very well for both of them professionally.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't let it leak out. I don't know how long this has been going on. Maybe it has something to do with it. Also probably helps that reporters weren't in the locker room every day and they were winning. They've been very successful. If the team stunk, I bet that probably would have inflamed things more, but I mean, they both knew that they were two of the most important, if not the two most important players on the team. But yeah, I mean, good for them being able to put their personal differences aside and I guess know when and where to clash and not do it in front of the fans. Because did anyone have any inkling? I guess Braves fans, you could chime in. There was no insinuation that there was beef between the two, was there?
No,
Like, ever.
no, and I think, and again, I think we all, as we grow up, Patrick, you've played lacrosse, you've played sports growing up. You get on a team of 13 guys or 15 guys, or you play on a football team, you're not going to like everybody. It's just it's impossible to really do. There are going to be people who rub you the wrong way. Freddie Freeman was asked about Ronald Acuna yesterday, and to give the exact quote, Freeman said, when you put on a Braves uniform in that organization, there's organizational rules. You don't cover the A with sunglasses. You don't wear earrings. You have your hair a certain length. You wear a uniform out during batting practice. You don't have eye black you don't have eye black coming down across your whole face. Those are just organizational things. So I guess I was one of the older guys that did have to enforce those kinds of things in the clubhouse. But when you put on a Braves uniform, those are kind of what happened. I don't view it as any friction or clashes or anything like that. I loved Ronald. I still love Ronald. I'm going to miss Ronald. That was Freeman's response to Acuna, who said some of those things happened. But I think it speaks volumes to me and makes me respect both of them a little bit more, that this had been going on since 2018 and they were able to coexist and it never carried on, at least to the field, that they were able to be good players, I guess. And the Braves organization was able to win a championship. Now, granted, Acuna didn't play last year because of the injury, but that both were able to coexist.
I like this quote. He kept forcing hugs on me. I don't know if this is real or not. Is it facts? I need to make sure. I think it is. This quote says he kept forcing hugs on me in the dugout. I'm looking forward to a hug-free season. I don't know if that's a real quote or not, but that's just funny. But I don't know if baseball is like easier because they don't necessarily need to have a relationship. I mean, Acuna needed to throw Freddie Freeman the ball to get people out at first, I guess. But I mean, do they need to be buddies to both be able to hit well and hit home runs and get on base? Like, it's a fairly individual sport. I mean, in the field, yeah, but you don't have to have a great relationship to just make routine throws. It's not like football where you have to be on the same page. If a quarterback's clashing with his wide receiver, well, that's going to be a problem all year long. So we've seen teams and offenses just completely implode because of quarterback and wide receiver relationships becoming problematic. So maybe baseball helps in that way a little bit, but it is a testament to both their professionalisms that it did never leak and they were able to both keep it going. And maybe you give some credit to Brian Snitker too. I don't know who deserves all the credit there.
803-404-6100 is how you can join in. Jay on Twitter. Jay Fowler says, Freddie, very critical of Ronald after the playoff series where Ronnie didn't run out the ball, hit off the wall. So
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, there was a play where it should have been a double, and I think Acuna thought it was going to be a home run and basically just kind of jogged and ended up being a single. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us. Other disgruntled athletes, Deebo Samuel, Patrick. Do you see this ending well? Because it feels like Deebo Samuel, who scrubbed San Francisco from his Instagram, the 49er organization, unfollowed them. Boy, that is getting at him. He really showed those mean 49ers who don't want to pay him $30 million. Do you see this ending well, or is Deebo on another team in 2022?
In 2022?
This coming season.
No, I think Deebo will be a 49er this year. it would take a lot. I think if someone offered them 2 first-round picks, then okay, you maybe make that trade. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna do that though. Would you? I mean, tell me that. Would you rather have Deebo Samuel or DK Metcalf?
I mean, it depends.
Or Deebo Samuel or AJ Brown?
They're different. As we talked about, what makes Deebo Samuel a good player, a great player, is his versatility. I guess you could line DK Metcalf up. I mean, DK Metcalf is a really good wide receiver.
He's more of a straight line fast guy,
Right,
though.
yeah. The answer is I'd probably go with Samuel because I feel like I could utilize him in different ways. The question is he worth, what is it? He wants $32 million is essentially what
I
he
don't know
wants.
if
A
it's
year.
32. It might be 30 because Tyreek Hill just ran right up to 30. That Tyreek Hill's the highest paid non-quarterback of all time. Devontae Adams got 28, and that was record breaking. And then Tyreek one-upped him.
So
if Deebo is actually saying, which there's no reports out, we don't know. This is all speculation from everybody. The idea is that he wants to be the highest paid. If he's actually saying that you need to pay me $30 million a year, I would have serious problems with that. So if that's actually the case, then San Francisco should cut bait before they get caught into that and lose him for nothing next year. So I think they need him. I think if Trey Lance is going to be a starting quarterback, which I think is going to happen, they got to get rid of Jimmy G somehow, some way. So if Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback, he needs to have Deebo Samuel there. Like, it's if he wasn't good enough to play as a rookie, and then you throw him out there year 2 without his best weapon, I don't think you're setting him up to be successful. So I'd be surprised if Deebo wasn't a 49er this year. But long term, I kind of feel like there's not going to be a place for him in San Francisco.
Where then? This is what I was going to ask you. Where then, if you're Deebo Samuel, hey, let's not worry about money for a second. Where then is the best option for what is the best fit? 31 other teams in this league. Where is the best fit for Deebo Samuel? The coaching and who can utilize him the best and get the most out of him over the next several years?
Well, the 2 teams that are in most need. Well, I guess I'll give you the 3 teams that are in most need of wide receivers that are actually good, because the Falcons are in desperate need of a wide receiver, and I wouldn't hate it if they decided to make a trade for him and then bring him in, pay him, and then next year all of a sudden you're drafting a quarterback because you're horrible, and you get Calvin Ridley back, and then you got a rookie quarterback, Calvin Ridley, and Deebo Samuel and Kyle Pitts. All of a sudden that horrendous wide receiver room looks pretty darn good just a year later. So I wouldn't hate Atlanta. The Chiefs, of course, just lost Tyreek Hill. There's word that they want to get more physical. They want to kind of bulk up their receiving core. That would make sense with Juju, a big slot. If they wanted to say we're going to basically trade out Tyreek Hill and get a younger and slightly cheaper version of him in Deebo Samuel, I think Kansas City would make a lot of sense. Green Bay, I don't know what kind of money they have. They couldn't afford to keep Devontae Adams, but they have nobody to speak of. Allen Lazard's their only wide receiver, so they could certainly use Deebo Samuel. And then one of my favorite fits that could definitely pay him and would really need him, but they never seem to splurge on guys like this, would be Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis would be an awesome fit for Deebo. Jonathan Taylor there, great offensive line. You have that element of Deebo and Jonathan Taylor, Matt Ryan, veteran quarterback, and Paris Campbell, another speedy guy that could take the top off the defense. They re-signed Mo Alley Cox, like Michael Pittman, the big possession receiver. I think he would be a really nice fit in Indianapolis and potentially take them to the next level. So that would be my favorite move for him.
803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. We have discussed hamburgers a good bit this morning because of the Braves' $151 World Champions Burger that it's interesting. And the good news is if you buy it for $151, you get this burger, plus you get a replica World Series ring. Unless you want to throw in an extra $24,000 or $24,850, then for $25,000, you can get a limited edition original ring along with the burger. I assume the burger comes with it. Ron from Lake Marion, he weighs in. He's got a burger of choice this morning, as he says, the Curly Burger at the Dario in Orangeburg. Appreciate you being a part of the program, Ron. 803-404-6100. We will wrap it up when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next Extra Extra Point.
Hey guys, Pearson Fowler here from the Extra Point, and coming up on the Friday Extra Point, plenty more from the Masters and a lot of Carolina football as the Gamecocks gear up for their second scrimmage of the spring. Plus, the Gamecock baseball team set to host another top 25 team at Founders Park. We'll have a full report and preview of that series, plus a lot more. It's the Extra Point, 9 o'clock.
The Extra Point
With Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 the game.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
And looking at two collisions right now. The first is going to be on St. Andrews Road and Burning Tree Drive. And there's another collision reported in Lexington on Bartow Ave and First Street.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Give yourself a new morning routine with the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. It's filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights.
All right. Yeah, Steven, Atlanta would make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. The Giants do need a receiver, but they just overpaid like crazy for Kenny Golladay. I don't know if they can afford to spend $40 million on 2 receivers. Larry, you said Giants, really, Rick? I don't know if you're being serious, but these are probably two of the least wide receiver needy teams in the NFL. Since he's got 3 very good wide receivers, Denver's got 3 very good wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, Jamar, T, Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. They're in good shape. He can go to Washington. People in Terry McLaurin would be awesome. Oh.
Travis, apparently you need to eat at the Dario.
There you are.
One more segment.
Yep. We're about to come back.
We ended up, I have a every weekend. They recruited my son to play 2 soccer games tomorrow, 1 and 3:40 out at Polo Road.
From the Herndon Chevrolet Studios, it is 105 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game.
With Bill Gunter, Patrick Perez, and Jen Jensen.
On your home of the Gamecocks, the early game.
107.5 The Game.
Final few minutes of the morning. Then we turn things over to Pearson Fowler, who is out there in the bullpen, getting ready, getting loosened up, ready to go. 3 full hours with him. Jay, Terry, and Tommy from 12 to 3 today. Heath Klein, 3 to 6 as we count down to some baseball tonight. South Carolina and Georgia. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game. It will also be broadcast on the SEC Network Plus, not on the regular station. The Sunday game will be, however, but you can hear all 3 games right here on 107.5 The Game. They are off and running down in Augusta. Patrick, it is day 2 down there. I forget, who did you go with yesterday? Who was your pick to win?
Well, my initial was Jordan Spieth, but then I switched to Brooksy.
You went Brooksy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't feel good. I don't feel good about either of those.
Yeah, it's both of them struggling today. A couple tee times to keep an eye on. Tiger Woods again will tee off at 1:41 this afternoon. Current leader Sung J M goes off here in about 40 minutes, 9:39 this morning. We'll see if he can replicate his 5 under 67. That was a big eagle for him yesterday on 13 that really got him going on the backside. Cameron Smith, who is everybody's pick, it appears, just everybody's taking Cameron Smith, the Australian, 4 under. Tees off at 1:30 today. So your afternoon viewing, you can catch Cameron Smith and you'll be able to watch Tiger Woods. That'll wrap up your afternoon there, 1:30 and 1:41 respectively. Dustin Johnson goes off in about an hour, 10:12 will be his start time. He is 2 back with a 3 under 69 yesterday. Show favorite, Danny Willett, 3 under. He tees off at 12:57 this morning.
None of my guys are doing well.
Okay.
My guys are like Brooksy, Kisner, because he's cool. I like Shane Lowry and Mark Leishman because I like the thick boys. I think they're fun to watch.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also like Tommy Fleetwood because he's got dreamy hair.
I was trying to add up. I'm in a little pool, and I was looking at all of my guys that I have. I think I've got like 9 guys here. And I was looking to see what they're at, and just kind of my picks. I think I'm like plus 17, not good either. So look, the leaderboard will change. It will change dramatically. And
is Justin Thomas out of it? Is he done?
To go back to what we were talking about on certain guys, I do think right now the projected cut is +2 is where everything stands. My general feeling is if you're going into this day, things can change. So but if you're +3 right now, I feel like you're out of it. But that's also based on the weather. That's just how I feel. Now, with that being said, I say if you're +3, I feel like you're out of it. Brooks Koepka is +3.
I mean, some of the best golfers in the world.
I feel like Brooks Koepka is good enough to make a run. Now, would you say the same thing about, say, a Sam Burns who's +3? Would you say the same thing about a Freddie Couples who's +3? I don't know. To each his own on that. Your boy Kevin Kisner, Tommy Fleetwood, all +3. I think your favorite new golfer, Bernhard Langer, who, as you said yesterday, if he came walking in the studio, you'd have zero clue who he is.
I think he's got a lot of potential, though.
A lot of potential.
He could be a great golfer one day.
He's got a lot of potential. Yeah, former master champion, plenty of potential there. Bryson,
75 years old.
Bryson DeChambeau +4. I feel like going into now the scoring conditions today. We'll see what the wind is. I kind of turn on and look at Gervais Street behind me. Doesn't look all that windy here on Gervais Street, but they're not playing on Gervais Street.
Sandy Lyle thrives in conditions like these.
This is where he makes his money back.
Yeah.
It's big day for him.
What if Sandy Lyle just goes out there and shoots a 60 today?
The good news would be he's
back in the mix.
He would make the cut. He is even through 4.
Oh, there you go, Sandy.
He's
what's the other guy doing?
Huggensbach.
Haggestad. He's 1 over. Shame.
Is he? Yeah, we're
One
kind
over
of, yeah,
today.
he's 1 over. He's now at +8 for the tournament. So a lot of big names. Again, just to give you, Koepka goes off at 10:45 this morning. A few other names to keep an eye on here. John Rahm, who is +2, goes off at 10:23. Patrick Reed, who's kind of hanging around +2, 9:06. So he goes off in just a little while. They just showed him on television here in front of us. Colin Morikawa, 10:12 this morning. Rory McIlroy, 10:45. So there are a couple names to keep an eye on there as we go through. We will come back on Monday, and we will discuss it all. So who are you going with now? Now that you look at this leaderboard?
I can't change now.
All right, well, you get to say, let's just pretend you get a second pick for.
All right, if I get a second pick, Tiger.
You going to go with Tiger?
I think Tiger's a legitimate chance of winning it. Yeah.
It's going to be fun to follow this weekend. Try and stay warm tomorrow. Highs in the 50s. Windy throughout the weekend, but no rain. No rain, so you can lay inside and watch the Masters.
If Tiger is at 3 or 4 under today, I think he's going to win it.
We're all going to the Masters. We're all sneaking in to watch a history in the making. It's been the early game on 107.5 The Game. Have a great weekend.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply. Men over 40 is your body.
All right, everybody. I got to get out of the way for Pearson. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the golf.